everybody, and welcome to Sci-Fi Vision. Tonight, we finally get to talk about Doctor Who. But please, if you haven't, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Check out our other interviews. And a reminder, well, not a reminder, I haven't actually told it on this show yet, but tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, I have it scheduled to air the interview that AJ and I did with Taylor Napier, who plays Maxim on the Wheel of Time. So that is tomorrow night. And then Thursday at 8, we have our Last of Us review. And at 11, we have a review or a breakdown of Towards Zero, the new Agatha Christie miniseries on BritBox, which we'll be doing a watch party for beforehand. And then we also have a watch party for Last of Us when it drops on Sunday night. And of course, that's at Discord, which you can get the link for that I'll put in the chat. But anyway, hello.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Fine.
Good for the most part.
That's good.
That's great. All right. Well, so we got a lot on tonight. 4 shows, right? We're going to talk about Doctor Who, The Wheel of Time, Daredevil, and SurrealEstate, and not talk about The Last of Us because we have a separate show now to talk about The Last of Us.
Yes.
So for people who want to hear The Last of Us, we're back tomorrow night to talk about that.
Yes.
Okay. So
no, we're back Thursday night, not tomorrow night.
Thursday night, not tomorrow night.
Tomorrow's our interview.
Thursday night. We're going to be doing Thursday nights.
You're listening more than I am. I'm like trying to download this. Yes.
The next 6 will be 6 Thursdays in a row talking about The Last of Us.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So, my computer's already messing up. So shall we jump right into it, you guys?
Yes.
Sure. I'm just trying. I have too many things open. I'm trying to close them all
right.
so I know what I'm doing.
Give us your undivided attention to talk about Doctor Who. Hit it, you guys. What do you think of this episode of Doctor Who?
Why don't you guys tell me what you think first, since I've already posted at length on the internet what I thought on scifivision.com.
So for our listeners out there, Karen and I were texting today, and I don't know why, but I feel like it's funny. I went back and I looked at the season, the previous seasons of Doctor Who since 2005. They're all 45 minutes long. I don't know why this episode felt so short. Maybe because it just had a lot going on, but
well,
I liked the episode. It was fun, but I don't know. I really hope it's not gonna be like last season. Like everything was about Ruby, and Ruby was so important. And there were some hiccups with last season because of Shooty still being on sex education when they started Doctor Who because of the strike and everything. Things were all screwed up. Hopefully this season is better overall. But I feel like we have another companion who isn't just a companion, who isn't just somebody along for the ride. It's like they're destined to be with him. And I don't know how I feel about that again.
So, yeah, we talked about this. I agree. This episode was kind of a mess, plot-wise and story-wise. But I do really like Belinda, the new companion. I thought she fit in well in this episode. And the actress who plays her is named, let me look her up, Varada Sethu. Sethu? And she's great, right? I really like her a lot. I think she and the Doctor have really good on-screen chemistry, but I also I'm sick of companions who have some mysterious, important cosmic connection to the Doctor that takes 1 or more seasons to solve. And I kind of really like my companion to, could we every now and then have a companion who's on for an adventure. Like Jodie Whittaker had 3 companions. That is a separate issue, but they were all sort of like just on board, right? And there wasn't like a big like we have a lot of. I guess it's been done before. Like how many companions who we've had where there was like a big old deal. Clara, right? Clara was like 2 seasons trying to figure that out. So I guess we'll have to wait and see how we like this and how this works out. But for me, it wasn't a good start to find out that there's like some big thing that's got to be solved.
The difference with Clara, though, Clara, was I liked the Clara story because it didn't start out. The doctor had no idea what was going on when it started. Like she was there, and then he met her again, and he was like, "Wait, what the hell's going on here? Why do I keep meeting you and you're different people? Like, what's the story here?" And then with the last 2 seasons here, he specifically sought them out. Like you see the doctor running around trying to catch up to her before she gets taken to outer space.
Right. He's trying to find her.
Same thing with
I'm
Ruby
not following up my pictures because I'm getting ice out of my freezer. So I should do a better job of clicking through these photos here. But yes, the whole opening was with Belinda at her job, and the doctor's running around the hospital and accidentally actually turns off all the power to the hospital. Oops. While he's trying to track her down. It's not really clear by the end. I mean, why that was, right?
Yeah, I don't know why that bothered you guys so much about her. I really liked this episode.
I don't have a problem with her.
I mean, it's not the best episode ever, but I thought for an opening, it was much, much better than last season, for one, than the last season premiere, which was Space Babies, if you remember, was not great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was not great.
But I mean, I think the whole thing is they added, and I told you guys this, they obviously added the thing about him trying to find out her connection to him because of the fact they reused the same actress from last season from Boom, Mundy Flint. And I think that they knew that people would be like, well, it's the same actor. So they kind of built that
this
in
was
there.
a plan.
So I don't mind that they did that.
This was a planned thing since last season.
No, no. She was cast after that. They decided that they liked the actress in that role.
Okay,
and
they might have did that after the episode, but it was known last year before the season was over that she was the new companion.
Right. Because they announced it. But I'm saying that they decided to cast her like after the fact. It was never written into the other character's character. When they went to cast for the companion, they called her and were like wanted her to do it. And they needed a way to make it work, which I don't know that they needed to do that. I think that maybe they did it because it was only a season ago that she was in.
I mean, to be fair,
I like that they connected it that way.
To be fair, you could be right about that because the actress that played Martha, she was in she was 2 years before she was in an episode, and even Jesus, what the hell's her name? Amy Pond.
Or not Jillian, Karen
Gillan. She was in Doctor Who twice before she became Amy Pond. Her first time, you never actually see her face though.
Yeah, it wasn't like right the season before and wasn't so obvious and like right before she was announced too. So I think they were trying to, correct. I don't know. I'm just going by.
Ironically, we had Peter Capaldi was in an episode before he was the doctor. I mean, they explained that. They did connect that. Actually, ironically, that's the same episode that Karen Gillan was in the first time.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think she has something built in.
It's more than just the doctor saying, "Oh, you look like someone I met once," which in and of itself is ludicrous that the doctor would run 3,000 years apart, randomly run into 2 people who look identical because they're related. But whatever. It's more than just that because the TARDIS in the end doesn't let them go back to return her.
Yes. Yeah. There's some reason.
It's more than just explaining away why the actress looks the same. And honestly, to me, like, I'm not so stupid that I need them to explain why the person looks like someone who was in Doctor Who recycles actors all the time, as AJ was pointing out. Look, maybe it'll work out great and I'll love the storyline by the end of the season. But personally, I'm sick of companions that have a big old giant mystery that like is why the Doctor's with them.
To be fair, Rose turned out to be a big deal, but that wasn't why the Doctor was with her. It was kind of because of what happened. It was kind of something that happened.
But you know,
I agree. I agree.
To necessarily be why he's with her. He said somebody told her about him about her. We don't know who that was yet.
Well, that's annoying to me.
I don't know. I like that they brought it up. I mean, look, if it's like seasons ago, I feel like that's one thing, but this was just last year, and this is a whole new set of like a whole new.
Honestly, I didn't
rebranding it as a new series and everything. So
JB, I didn't recognize her. You had to. I was like, "Who is this person? What are you talking about?" And you could tell me. And then I'm like, "Who is that?" And you could tell me the episode. And I'm like, "Wait, which episode was that?" Like, I don't really.
Okay, that's fair. She didn't look quite the same. I'll give you that. I don't
really think it needed to be over explained to the audience. I had no idea. What?
No, I know it didn't need to. I'm just saying I don't dislike that storyline that there's something built in with that. But I don't know because I don't know where it's going yet anymore. And you do.
I like my companion. I like not a noble style who's just like, sure, let's go.
I agree. I like the companions that stumble upon the Doctor, and not because of any specific reason. And I just feel like this is 2 seasons in a row they're doing this to us.
Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, and it's 2 seasons in a row they're doing this. They did it with Ruby, and it's been done before. Like even Bill had like this sort of like,
the worst companion ever.
Worst companion ever probably was Bill. Clara had a big old Clara was introduced as this girl inside a Dalek, and then later they decided to bring her back and got this whole thing right. I'd like I do like that Belinda in the end is a reluctant companion and was like, hell no, I'm not going with you. And now she's stuck with this freak Doctor. Right?
Yeah, I do like that aspect of it.
Yeah, she doesn't put up with his crap, which I like.
It's not that she doesn't put up with his crap. She's like, you are dangerous and I have shit to do and I want to go home. It's not even, to me, it was even more than that she says, you're dangerous. Like, take me home. I'm not going with you. Amy, if you want to say didn't put up with crap, Amy didn't like take any baloney from the Doctor, right? But
yeah, this girl wants nothing to do with him at first, I guess is a better.
Well, at first, I guess maybe she will at all. Maybe later she will enjoy being with him, but right now she's basically been kidnapped by robots and now basically kidnapped by the Doctor.
Yeah, she's trying to get home. Where's the Doctor?
Well, to be fair, he tried to take her home and the TARDIS wouldn't let him. So he's got to take the long way.
Yeah.
I just hope through this story that we just get some fun one-off, like kind of like I don't remember the name of the episode, but the one with Rogue last year. That was a fun episode. Wasn't that the Bridgerton one?
Oh, that was a fun one. Yeah,
that was fun.
That was a really good episode. Who I also hope that character comes back at some point because that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I just I hope there's more one-off episodes that don't have anything to do with the overarching story, because you can have an overarching story. Lots of shows have done it, but you can also have your Monsters of the Week episodes. I just hope they don't get pigeonholed into this situation where everything is about her, about Belinda.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that happened a lot last season with Ruby.
All right. Well, this is though a story of the week, even though they have the introduction of the companion. But so she is abducted by these big robots that come to her apartment. The one thing I didn't like, and I know a lot of people got mad about that, is what the hell with the cat? That was like
whatever. So tons of people got vaporized, but you're upset about the cat.
Yeah, screw humans.
Well, no, but I mean, they threatened her with it and did it. It wasn't just like a cat, during a battle got vaporized or something. It wasn't even her cat.
That makes it even funnier.
Yeah. Yeah. Jamie, you know no cats were actually vaporized in the filming of this episode.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Thank you. So she's taken, and the doctor's trying to find her at the same time, but we don't know why yet. But I just want to, because I want to make sure we talk about at the beginning of the episode, before she ever gets brought to there. He's going, like you said before, he's going around looking for her. He goes to the hospital, knocks the power out. But once she gets taken away, we get more of Mrs. Flood.
Well, we got a flash of Mrs. Flood. We didn't really get anything.
Well, no, she was in it again.
She broke the fourth wall again, though.
Yes, she broke the fourth wall, and she's like,
she's everybody's next door neighbor apparently on the whole show.
She said, "You ain't seen me."
They've been teasing that. I think they're gonna have that revealed this season. I think I want to say
I hope so. I'm kind of sick of it. I'm not up for these multi-season things. Like I said to Jamie by text today, I'm one of the few people, one of a minority of people, but we're out there that think Russell T Davies coming back was maybe a mistake, and he's kind of a giant pain in the ass. And I'm not that interested in Mrs. Flood because I only get like 2 seconds every once a season, and I'm like, this is not like a Lost level mystery that I'm dying to find out, right? Do something good or don't.
Hopefully the Mrs. Flood thing pays off. I feel like it's going to be a callback to something.
Yeah, I think it will be too.
By 2030, maybe.
That's not what I meant. I meant callback to an old Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe she's an old.
She's
anyway
dressed a lot like old companions. So some people are like theorizing maybe it's to do with some of the companions, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if you look through her different costumes.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, she's like a nothing bit of this. Like they just throw in there. Like we've already talked about her longer than she was in the episode. But she is the neighbor of Belinda, right? Mm-hmm. When she's being kidnapped. She's sort of like an observer. She observes these things happening, but nothing happens to her.
Fair. That's fair. But
I was really these scenes were a great example. You know, we talk about how much the special effects have improved with the Disney budget. And this is like a whole new level. Like this is not your everyday Cyberman like we used to have the Cybermen, right? That looked like I made that out of tinfoil in my basement. This is like serious. This was a great effect.
Yeah,
this really pays off. I don't always love the improvement in special effects. I like some of the cheesiness, right?
Yeah. You know what the robots reminded me of? They reminded me of Smile.
Yeah, they do.
You guys remember that episode?
Yeah. Because they have the little face like that, right?
Yeah.
I did like how the face changed too. I thought that was kind of cute.
Well, that's why it reminded me of Smile because
yeah.
It's actually the smile. The face is the same in every single picture I selected on.
Yeah, the ones that they provided is the same. You're right, but it looks like a cat once. It smiles.
Yeah.
It has a heart, I think, at some point. So yeah, it changes. But the idea is that these robots think that she's the leader of their star or their planet, whatever you want to call it.
The queen.
All because her boyfriend in the past bought her this certificate that she owned a star. Yes.
I mean we skipped over that, but that opening scene really was sort of a critical scene in terms of
and very creepy. I got a bad vibe about him before they revealed that he was a bad guy.
But almost the first thing out of his mouth was when he said, "I know women are not good at math," and I was like, "Holy crap! Did Doctor Who just say women are not good at math?" But then then it goes on to see that he is the worst. They set him up as the worst early on in the episode, right? He insists on calling her Miss. He is very sort of bossy, and I can't really imagine why Belinda went on a date with the guy in the first place. Maybe she's very desperate. I don't know.
I think that's why there was no second date.
I have to wonder though if they had been out more than once though, because he proposes that night, unless he's really strange.
Yeah, but she didn't look like she wanted to say yes though.
No, she definitely didn't want to say yes, but he did propose that night. But yeah, so she's whisked away to their planet it's actually a star, but later they say it's a planet. where everybody thinks she is the queen, but she has no power. And that woman there, Sasha 55, basically kind of tells her that they need her help. And the historian, I think he says the historian that comes to talk to her is actually the doctor in disguise, that he has been
He's
on
not
that
really in
planet.
disguise.
Well, he's not in disguise. They don't know who he is there yet. They haven't, the robots haven't figured it out. Oh yeah, I know what we forgot. And on the trip up, when she's going down, there's a schwupp. That's the other important thing that connects later.
There's a what?
A what?
Yeah, they call it a schwupp.
No, she uses the word.
Yeah, that, and then he repeats it. Yeah, it's like a glitch.
It's like a bloop.
Yeah, a bloop, basically. Because it's messed up, timey-wimey. I love the quote, though, when he says timey-wimey. She's like, what am I, 3 or something like that?
She said, what am I, 6?
6. Okay, 6. That was funny. But yeah, it's screwing around with time. And the whole reason they think that that thing's important is because it became a foundation myth. Because when they went back later to get the certificate, it comes from the past, but then they like moved back into the past further, so there's like another version of it. Sorry, that was
that essentially made no sense to me at all.
What I said, or in general?
Both. What happened on the show?
What you just said. I understood what happened on the show.
I didn't explain
it
right.
I didn't understand it on the show, and I didn't understand it any better when Jamie just explained it.
What did you understand, Karen?
It's the same. It's actually the same certificate from the future. How do they both have a copy of it?
When they went back to get it the second time, like they blooped, so they ended up. They lived out. That's the wrong picture.
That's the wrong show.
So the robots, after they got Alan, they lived out that time on that planet. So it became like part of the mythology of the planet that he was was the one who would lead it, and that she was the queen. But that because that document had traveled in time, that it was the same one, a different version of the same exact document.
Yeah, I'm still not sure I get that.
Okay, so all right. So when we had the time glitch, when she was like, go get whatever the hell his name was, she's like, this is his fault, not my fault.
Alan?
Alan. And that's when we had the time glitch. So they listened to her. They went and got Alan, but but they went back further in time to get him. So he'd been on that planet longer. Like, that's why the doctor has been there for 6 months, also had been there for 6 months. But then again, with the doctor, you never know when he's going to show up somewhere. So that's besides the point. But Alan had been there longer than when they had gone to get, like, he was already there when they went to get her because of timey-wimey.
Even though they got her first.
Technically, yes. Because of the time glitch, they somehow ended up further ahead in the future than before they had gone to get her, or in the past than when they'd gone to get her.
Right.
So okay. Alan, even though they got Alan second, they ended up there first, which is why he had the certificate, and she also had the certificate.
Yeah. And
why did she bring her certificate, by the way?
They took it. She didn't. They took it from her house.
She got it in her hand as they're transporting her. It's in her hand.
Yeah, because they gave it. They gave it to her to hold on to, I guess, and they took it off the wall.
Yeah,
they took it off the wall.
Yeah, they took it off the wall and said, "Bring it." You're right.
So,
but at any rate, so when she gets in and she talks to the doctor, talks to her, he tells her basically by this long information about how the planet came to be, that every 9th word the robots can't understand. So that's when they can plan their rebellion, which is how they've been working and waiting for her to get there so that they can escape, which I like how they did that.
Yeah, that was kind of neat.
Yeah.
But they expect her to, I know they to marry the AI generator, this bad robot. Uh,
Alan.
that yes, which
Oh
turns
yeah, and
out
it's
to be
not. It's
Alan.
not. No, and it's not AI. It's
I know.
Al.
Well, I'm saying what it said at the beginning. It says AI generator, and it turns out that it's AL generator, and it's actually Al, who is now like melded with the machinery, like they wanted her to do, but they
Yeah,
wanted
which is what they
her
want to do to
to
her.
marry him and become part robot. But that's what they end up. She ends up obviously avoiding, and the doctor knows even that he's on some kind of, I forget, see, I don't have the details, but how they explain it, but he's on a loop, an 8-part loop or something, with the way he's connected to the machine, that like every ninth time it goes through is when he's free and not part of the machine, and he's human again, and he's actually like saying he's in pain. um but
Well, as the
yeah,
doctor explained it, every ninth word is the truth.
yeah, every ninth word is the truth. But she knows what to do, because the doctor, explained about the certificate being the same exact item and the whole timey-wimey, and basically it would make, I mean, they don't say it, but basically it would make a paradox, and that's why it would go boom. Which is how, when she touches his to hers, it explodes and he grabs her. But I have to say, I did like to, I know I don't know exactly where it's at in here, but if you listen to his words too, what he says, that's the ninth word. This thing I have that I wrote so long, I'm never going to find it. But basically, what he says, if you figure out the ninth words, actually says something like, free, oh, here it is, diploma, freedom. So even he explained to her what to do. Like, I think we had, at least I had already figured out at that point what was coming, but Alan told her too, right before she did it. So he knew it was coming and he wanted it. So yeah. So a couple things before we get into the whole, like, I guess, meaning of the episode. I want to say this episode, the robots actually reminded me a lot of the Daleks, the way that they disintegrated people, like the way that they lit up before they killed them. Did you think so? It made me think.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I can see what you were saying.
I thought even the way Al was in this, when they open up the AIs in there, reminded me a little bit of when you open a Dalek and see the little
actually
thing inside there.
He reminded me of Davos.
Yes. He
Davos,
reminded me of Davos also.
He does kind of look like Davos, or make you think of Davos. But yeah, I mean, what did you think though about the idea of, like, the whole toxic masculinity, like that he created a whole planet to control because that's what he wanted? I didn't mind that message. It wasn't as overt as it's been sometimes on this show, and I didn't mind it. But I don't know, you guys didn't like this episode, so.
I didn't not like this episode. I did think it was kind of a mess. Like, I think that by maybe doing a story that has this element of I mean, toxic masculinity, like there's a point where Belinda says, "Oh, planet of the incels," right? Like,
Yeah.
There's some serious shit there that then they conflate with the danger of like an AI, and I feel like neither one of them was done justice.
Yeah, I don't know that the AI was really a storyline, other than they wanted to use, AI generator, owl generator, and be like a reveal. They really
They
didn't
said
go into anything
they
with
said
artificial intelligence.
AI generator. I mean,
yeah, they did, but I mean, they never actually went into artificial intelligence in the story, other than he was called that. I felt like, not really.
Yeah, they misread what it said. Like, somehow,
Yeah.
I don't know how you mistake an L for an I, but
I think it was because it was shut. You couldn't see the rest of the letter. That's what I took it as.
maybe.
But he also kind of looks Cybermen-ish too. So I feel like some of the designs in this episode really borrowed from a lot of different things on the show. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Karen.
I don't know. What do you think about the terrible ex-boyfriend storyline?
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I did not like the episode. I worry about where it's going. And Doctor Who has never been preachy. They've had, Doctor Who has always been historical, and they've gotten messages across, but like I said, they've never really been preachy. So I'm not really sure what RTD is trying to do this season.
Well, he did that some last season too, though.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's Doctor Who. Doctor Who's supposed to be fun with a good story and not worry about all the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if we necessarily needed it, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea and how it was kind of like that to the nth degree, because he ended up, corrupted and controlling the whole planet just because that was what he wanted, to be in control, because you kind of got that clip of what he would have been like to her.
Well, all right, to be fair though, hold on, to be fair a second, he's also a little pissed off because he blames her because they never would have gone after him had she not been like, this isn't my fault, go after him, he bought me the star.
Yeah, but at the beginning he liked it because he got to rule. He was happy at the beginning.
Really? Did we? I mean,
did we see that?
Yeah, we saw the beginning when he got in. He's like, I get to rule the whole planet.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw like 97. We never saw him actually enjoy that. We saw him. I mean, I took that to be as though he was being misled by these robots, just like Belinda. They were like, "Oh, you're going to get married," which she didn't think was a good idea. But I mean, we never saw him enjoy. We saw them telling him it was going to be cool, and he's like, "Oh, this sounds cool." I'm not sure that I believe he ever enjoyed it.
But the doctor explained that these robots got along with humans until he got there. So he caused this war with
he corrupted it. But to start out with, I mean, Karen's right. We don't actually see any of that, so we don't know where things went wrong or how things went wrong.
Who corrupted the planet and made them fight and made them.
But again, I mean, the same argument can be made for what I just said. He's pissed off. It could have started out all fun and games, and then he's like, and then when shit went bad, he could be like, wait a minute, I'm here because of Belinda. Screw this. Who the hell knows? We don't know because we weren't shown.
Yeah,
actually, is he not in a similar situation to Belinda when the doctor's like, "Come with me, it's going to be great," and she's like, maybe it's not going to be so great. Maybe I don't want to go." Right? I mean, I'm not excusing it or saying that he is in any way a good guy. Right? I'm just saying, he wasn't like, let me come to this planet and rule because I'm a toxic person that wants to be in charge of a planet, right?
No, but I mean, they definitely insinuated, at least at the beginning, that he wanted to rule the planet, which I'm not saying that necessarily would be something you would think would be bad.
The
but
robots
the
came and
doctor
got
made
me
a point
into a
of
planet.
saying
I'd say yes.
That the robots and the people were all like lived together in harmony until this all happened. I mean, he destroyed the planet and made them at war. That was kind of the whole point.
Well, I mean, I think the fact that we have to have this conversation is just showing how, to me, this episode was kind of a mess with all this stuff in there that maybe was not adequately explained. Or, I mean, I think, Jamie, you've made an inference and I've made an inference and we inferred different things from the same scene, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't I don't think he was a good guy, but I'm not sure that he showed up with the intention of ruining the planet, or he never intended to show up there at all, right? He was kidnapped.
No, but he intended to take over and make it like in his image. It was supposed
to
be.
Did. I mean, that was he did. He had no intention when he got there. He didn't intend to go there. He had no intention
when he got there. He was like, "Oh, cool! I can control the whole planet." I mean, that was definitely, I don't know. I thought
that's what they told him.
It was. Yes, but he wanted to, I mean, when he got there, he was happy that it was like a video game that he got to control everything. He even said that when he got there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, he made a comment for 1 second. We didn't
yes, it may not have stayed that. I'm not saying it would. I'm just saying the fact that they were fighting and that the robots and the humans weren't getting along. Like the doctor said that was because of what happened. I mean, they outright said that.
Right, but the doctor doesn't actually say what happened. And we don't know what led to it. Like, let's put it this way. There's not enough, it's inferred, but there is not enough information for anybody to make an opinion one way or the other.
All right, let's not belabor this, okay?
Yeah.
Because there's like a lot to.
Well, the point was what I was going to get to begin with is I did like how the whole idea of like I said, like toxic masculinity and that idea, I didn't mind that. But I like that it sort of carried over into the doctor and Belinda when he scans her DNA without asking. Because the doctor does that all the time. He doesn't a lot of times take into consideration what people actually want. He just assumes that, oh, I'm fun, you're going to enjoy it, and never asks.
That's not necessarily toxic masculinity.
No, it's not.
That's the doctor.
That's the doctor. You're right. But I think that the episode was like, the point was is that she was trying to tell him after, you kind of did the same thing. You didn't ask. You just did it. And you're not being fair. That's how I took it anyway. I'm not saying the doctor is like that per se in a bad way all the time. I'm just saying that he doesn't always think about things before he does it. He just assumes that everybody's having fun and everybody wants to go.
Okay,
with
but
him.
why is it
kind of like, no, I want to go home. You didn't ask me, and you're dangerous.
But why is it okay that the doctor just assumes that people want to do what he wants?
But that's
that
the point.
Belinda will go along with him. But it's not okay. But it's not okay for a different man to just assume that she'll do whatever he wants. The doctor, in some ways, is an equal asshole to Alan.
Yeah,
in some ways.
Yes, and that's what I think they're trying to get across in that point. Is she's trying to tell him, hey, this isn't cool. You're doing the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not excusing the doctor. The doctor's been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't, he's just there. The doctor is.
I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying it's always the doctor.
Yeah, the doctor.
He just assumes he's fun and everybody wants to hang out with him.
Yes.
And not just hang out with him. He assumes that people want to leave their entire life. And he's like, oh, it's not a big deal. We can get back for work. But the doctor never takes into consideration that for Belinda, wait, Jamie, please don't talk over me. For Belinda, it's that she won't see her family for maybe an entire year. And the doctor's like, oh, we'll get back a minute before. No one will know. He says this all the time. Like, oh, you'll get back in time. No one will know. But you have to miss your family for a year or years, and you might die at any point along the way, right?
Well, perfect example. Rose, he gets her back the same day she left. 2 years later.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that until her mother is like, where the hell have you been for the last 2 years?
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, oops.
Oopsie.
He doesn't tell them the fine print.
He doesn't even, it's not that he doesn't tell them.
He doesn't know the fine print.
No,
he
I
doesn't
know.
care.
He doesn't care. Yes, that's the point. He doesn't care.
The doctor could say, listen, here are my intentions, but the TARDIS might not let me.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that brings up a big question for me. So at the end, near the end, when like they get in the TARDIS and Belinda goes, holy cow, is this your TARDIS? I'm sorry, how did she know that word?
Yeah, when did he tell her that? Was there a cut scene?
You think there's a scene? I think maybe there's
a
scene.
to her about them taking his spaceship, but yeah, I don't think he called it a TARDIS. That might have been.
He never calls it. He not only was I certain he never called it the TARDIS, but there's like 20 reviews online today that are like, why did she know the word TARDIS? Like it was noticed by everyone.
I felt the same way immediately. As soon as she called it a TARDIS, I thought, how did she know that?
I don't remember questioning it, so it may be in the original. Maybe
I questioned it.
But I know he never said that the robots kidnapped his spaceship. He definitely told her about that.
She never says the word TARDIS. He never says the word TARDIS ever in the entire episode.
There's got to be a deleted scene, and
there's got to be a deleted scene.
Yeah,
because there's no way she should know the word TARDIS.
Yeah.
Right.
And if she did, I'd kill somebody. I wouldn't kill somebody, but I would be unhappy.
You know what I wish they would do though? Like sometimes it's fun when they change it up, but I miss some of the old tropes. Like, she walks in, she walks out, she looks outside, she goes back in, and he goes, it's bigger on the inside than the outside. I like when we always wait the companions say it. I don't always like the doctor's done it a couple times over the years, and I don't I don't know. It's a personal thing, so it's not really a big deal. But I don't like
No,
when
yeah, I
doctors
like their
do that.
reaction, their shock, which we didn't quite
And there was
get.
something.
Same.
Oh, and you know what I miss that they don't do anymore is they don't say Doctor Who anymore. Like people are like Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I did like what she said. I kind of liked hers. She was like just the doctor.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Well, then I'm the nurse." I like
Yeah.
that. That was
Which was
Well,
pretty
I do like when she said, as usual, the doctor's doing nothing and the nurses are doing everything.
Yeah. That was
You know,
Yeah,
she
she's
has some
going
good
on.
comments about being a nurse, but I mean,
I mean, to be fair, he's not a real doctor, but
yeah.
And they also had I know you guys probably didn't know because you didn't even seem to know where she was from in the first season, but they did reference back
I
to
knew.
the, I'm sorry, you did?
Yeah, no, I knew. Karen
Okay.
didn't.
Okay, she was asking me the episode then, but they did reference back to it later in the episode because whenever he says that it's a time that they don't have to rush back because he's a time lord, time machine, and she goes, "Is this a time machine?" He goes, "Boom." That was like meant to be a reference.
Oh wow, you know what? I didn't even catch the boom line.
Yeah, I did because he kept saying kaboom, and I kept thinking, why doesn't he just say boom? And then he did later. So I think they were kind of building up to it. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cute. If you're a big fan, you look for those kind of things. So, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I liked it a lot more than you guys did. I thought it was pretty good for a premiere. I mean, there was a lot of like, I guess, kind of getting the relationship between them and kind of building that because we don't know her, but I overall really liked the episode. I mean, it wasn't like the best ever. Like I said, it's not like it was my favorite ever, but I enjoyed it. Even if Karen clearly didn't.
I didn't not look. I enjoy Belinda. She's a pretty good actress and character, and I enjoy her. And I think I could be intrigued by the idea of a companion who doesn't want to be with the doctor. It didn't ask to go. Said, "Take me home," and he doesn't. And like what that could mean or be. I'm intrigued by that. I mean,
he did
Just
try.
like that little robot wiped up Alan.
polish. I love him. I mean, to be honest, I like Doctor Who a little bit less every season. I think Doctor Who has peaked, and we're in like some less good years of Doctor Who lately.
So what you're saying is they need to take a break and come back again in like 15, 20 years?
No.
That was what was it? The last one was
Yeah.
what? Before 2005, the last one was what?
I'm not saying it peaked before New Who, but I think these last couple seasons are
that's what I'm saying. Like what was it? What was it, like 15 years between the classics and now, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying that has to be. I'm just saying the last few years are diminishing, in my opinion.
Yeah, ever since they brought on the 13th Doctor,
I like.
No, I think the 12th. I know you love Peter Capaldi, but I don't like the Clara storyline. Clara's my least favorite companion, and I'm not sure the 12th Doctor is to me the peak of Doctor Who.
Okay, always my favorite. But either way, when they brought David Tennant back, I think it went really well. It's just they can't keep that momentum. They can't keep him all the time.
I mean, I don't hate the 12th Doctor. Heaven Sent is one of the greatest Doctor Who episodes of all time, right? Like, I'm not anti. I do like a longer run. I do like a longer run of a Doctor, maybe. I just, to me, look, it's a season premiere. We'll see what happens with it. I do like Belinda. I don't like that he keeps calling her Belle. That he just gave. See, this is like he just gave her a nickname that she doesn't have, and it's a way that the Doctor and this Doctor in particular is very presumptuous that we're immediately best friends because you just met me and you love me, obviously because I'm me, right? Like he just gives her this nickname and starts calling her it, and that kind of thing. I think it could be good to see a companion who's like, whatever. And apparently the Doctor might have destroyed the entire planet. In the last scene, we see a lot of earthly debris flying around, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a couple things I did want to ask you. What did you think about the fact that whenever they had I'd call it a paradox when the two diplomas touched. I don't know why they called it a diploma, but that's what they call it. But anyway, when they touched, that he went through her timeline. I thought that was really interesting because to me, that was like a reverse of Clara. It was like instead of the Clara showing up in all the different spots in his, he's like, I've known you for whatever he said, for your lifetime. Like he was in her time stream. So I kind of, not exactly, but
Yeah, but he hasn't yet.
No, but I like that he said that the way they did that it was like the reverse of.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. It wasn't like a reverse Clara.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
I mean, I thought the doctor jumped into the explosion to pull her out because he himself is sort of like a space-time anomaly himself, and so he's immune.
The brunt of it, kind of. He took the
if he didn't grab her, I feel like she would have disappeared too.
Yeah, she would have disappeared. But what the other thing I wanted to ask, though, that I know some people kind of question is, what did you think about him and what was her name, Sasha? I like that at least he was upset that someone died, because people die around him so often, and it was kind of nice to like take a minute and realize that he is affected. This doctor's definitely a lot more emotional than a lot of times he is. So I kind of like that.
What, you like that he's emotional?
Yeah.
No, I'm sick of him crying all the time. Stop being a crybaby, Doctor Who. Always crying. I like my doctor to be toughen up a little bit, Doctor. He didn't cry in this episode, though, did he? I think maybe he did.
Yeah.
He had a tear going down his face. He didn't cry, but he was upset over it.
I'm a Time Lord. Yeah.
Although he only got upset when she died, not when anybody else died, though. So I don't know. I guess she was the only one on the planet.
Okay. He didn't cry. Oh, he cried because of Sasha, right?
Yeah.
Poor Sasha, 55. Yeah. All right. We've been talking about this show way too long. We got a lot of shit on our agenda. Can we move it along, maybe?
Yeah. Wait.
I'm good.
Anything else?
Yeah. No, it's fine. I don't know. I was gonna say if people want to read it, I did, and I know you said you're waiting, which is fine, but I did put up my spoiler-free review of the second one, which is Lux, with guest star Alan Cumming, who's of course awesome.
It looks like it's kind of 50s, and I love Belinda's hair in it, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I like it. It's different. It's silly, but I liked it.
I always like episodes that are in the past, that are like in the historical periods. Yeah. So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah. Alrighty,
cool. All right. Then next we're going to talk about the Wheel of Time.
That's fine. Sounds good.
Okay.
Yes, and just a reminder for people, if you come in at the middle of the show, that our interview with Taylor Napier, who plays Maxim, will be going up tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I set it to premiere already, so make sure you check that out.
Great.
It's a good long interview, so a lot about the battle and everything else that's in this episode.
Cool. All right. This episode, AJ, was super Game of Thronesy, wasn't it?
I don't think about Game of Thrones watching this.
Well,
I think it's what it is.
Game of Thrones always had like a big battle, was always in the second to last episode, you know?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it until you said something.
And it felt like, it made me think of like Blackwater, like the Battle of Blackwater, or many other battles actually that were the second to last episode of Game of Thrones. This had a very, had a Lord of the Rings. It just had an epic kind of feeling to it, I guess, is what I mean.
And like I told you in text messages, when I first saw this, I'm about halfway through this episode, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, it's a good thing this episode is really good, because Karen hates Perrin.
I don't hate Perrin.
I know you don't. I know. But that's what I was
just think Perrin is boring. He never does anything. Until now.
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah, no, it was a great battle.
Overall, how did you guys enjoy it? Besides the battle.
I mean, the whole episode I thought was great. I mean, everything about it was.
Yeah, there was a lot to like about it going on, and I like that Perrin finally stepped up and got more of a storyline. I don't know if I like that he turned himself in at the end to the White Cloaks, but like I get it and it makes sense. I was glad that they came and helped him, but was a little surprised that one the one that came from the White Cloaks, that he wasn't aware of it. I thought he was in on the whole dark friend thing. I didn't him. Yeah, I forget his name. I forget all their names. You know that. I didn't realize that he was not in on the plan that was going on. I somehow misunderstood that, but I liked that because it did surprise me that they like turned around and screwed him. And, you know, Perrin was the one all along that's been, you know, honest with him. And yeah, so I liked how they did that, but there was a lot going on. I mean, as much as this whole episode can be summed up in, there was a big battle where they went against the Trollocs. A lot happened during the battle.
Yeah. This might be, so it's the first episode in a long time that I can remember that centered only around like one group, right? Our group has been separated now for really like 2 seasons, and we're used to splitting it up, and this episode gave us like just these people who are in this picture, pretty much, a few more people, but it's centered all around. I mean, for me, I kind of felt like, oh my God, at last something is moving with Perrin's storyline. And he's going to do something, and something's going to happen. And maybe this is finally the slow build is finally paying off in a great episode. I'm still not really sure where Perrin fits in with the larger.
Yeah, I kind of wondered if he's done now. Like, is he going to be held for trial? And I mean, I don't think they're going to put him to death, but for all we know, he could end up in their prison and we might not see him for a while.
Yeah, I know what you mean. He just seems to have this kind of side story that I'm not really sure how it's playing in. In fact, there's so when it is revealed that Pat Fane, the dark friend, who's been around since season 1, is there, and it has been controlling the Trollocs as a part of it.
What?
Perrin says to him something like, "Why are you doing this? Why do you hate us?" And Fane says, "I don't hate you. I don't even really care about you." He says, like, the dark one wants to kill you to mess with Rand. And that's why I'm doing this, right? He wants to destroy the 2 rivers to send a message to Rand and to mess with Rand. And like, is that all like this slow burning storyline
done with Perrin this season? He's kind of like this side plot that's just there to in relation to how it goes with Rand. That's how a lot of them are this season, though, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly, Jamie. You said it exactly right. Like, is he just there like to be a side story to Rand? As this guy implies, like, we put a lot of time and a lot of character building into Perrin, and is he really only important to the story in the sense that he used to be Rand's friend? I don't know. AJ, what do you think about that? Is it going anywhere?
Oh, I think it's definitely going to go somewhere. I mean, you don't give a guy wolf eyes and then just make him a side piece, you know? I mean, don't call him Lord Perrin, though, because he doesn't like that. He must have told like 5 people in this episode, don't call me that, whenever they call him. You know, there was a lot of things I liked in this episode, aside from, I mean, the battle was great, but there were so many other things that actually happened in the episode I thought were really great. The meeting with the White Cloaks when Perrin makes his offer and they're like, yeah, screw you. But Perrin makes a great argument, whether you believe me or not that I'll turn myself in, it's the right thing to do, which comes around later when they actually do show up. But his conversation with, and I got to write her name down one of these times, his little girlfriend there.
Fail.
Yeah. The conversation that she has with him is probably, for me, was like actually the highlight of the episode in terms of anything not battle, like because she's like, you need, she's like, enough. She's like, you need to forgive yourself and accept the fact that, I can fight. Just because I'm a woman doesn't mean I can't fight.
Yeah, and she's like, don't
Stop
make
putting,
your wife's death.
hold on, Jamie. Stop putting me on this pedestal. Don't take your wife down from the pedestal. She died because she fought, because look at all these women here. Look at all of us that are fighting, like you need to get over this whole thing about how you need to protect everybody. You're going to go further and do more when you accept the fact that we're all equals. And I just thought that was a really great, not really conversation, because she didn't let him get any words in, but but it's something that Perrin definitely needed to hear, and it was better for it.
That's interesting, and then there's that scene a little bit later where the two Aiel women whose names
Oh my God, I love them. I just keep calling them the sisters.
Yeah. And when they say, "Ooh, we like your women's circle," where the women have formed I said, "We like your women's circle." I mean, women are powerful in this show. It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting. Perrin, I think that Perrin is not, it's because Perrin lost his wife is why he's doing this. He's not, I don't think he's like a chauvinist or that he thinks women aren't able to. I think it's because he lost his wife, lost somebody he loved, right? It's not that just that he's a protector, not that he thinks they can't perform.
Well, he also blames himself for it too, because it was kind of, it wasn't his fault, but he caused it.
His wife's death?
Yes.
Yeah.
He did kill her.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But there was a lot about her Vale, whatever her name is.
Vale?
Yeah, telling him that like they need something to believe in. And that they might die, but that you don't want to, like, they need to at least fight and try. And they had the whole like banner in that he was kind of not happy with at the beginning.
Yeah, and she's like, look, they believe in you. They need, I think it's later in the episode when they read the end of the book that Loyal, which was very Lord of the Ringsy, right? That he's keeping this journal, and at the end, Loyal has written like, he became Lord Perrin not because he led this great battle not because he wanted to lead, but because his people wanted to follow. Like they just needed somebody to stand up, right?
The reluctant leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see how that always works, though.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't cry. Loyal had some really great scenes, and in this. I love it when he agrees to play the Maiden's Kiss, and totally tricks the Aiel women. Like he had a plan to make them like stop following him, and I thought that was great the way he did. He's like, "Oh, so you saved my life, so I guess we're even." And they're like, "Shit,
you didn't kiss us because you were trying to protect us, so therefore now we owe you again."
Yeah, he was trying to break their like bond of responsibility to him or whatever, right? He had a great. I'm sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I forget what it was called. Wasn't it their Tao or something like that?
The Tao,
yeah, Tao, something. I forget what it's called, but yeah, they're what they owe.
Yep. Yeah. Loyal has been like really a supportive character, right? For all this time. He has been part of the group, but not like a main, I don't call him not a main character, but then he just stepped up and had this amazing like thing that he did in this episode, right? Because the what are they called? Not ogre, his people.
Frolic?
No, whatever Loyal's people are. His people can pass through the way gates and can control the way gates without like he can't, he doesn't chat. His people are the keepers of the way gate. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Waygate. And he can
His
shut
people
it
are the
from the
keepers.
outside.
And he was going to be able to close it when nobody else could, right? Without only a channeler or an Uyghur can. Uyghur, I'm saying it wrong, and some book readers could probably correct me, but and then he had this amazing episode, and that felt very Lord of the Rings also, right? Like, remember when Gandalf fights the Balrog, and like the bridge breaks and he falls down that
Yeah, he
giant
sacrifices
chasm,
himself.
right? I know you hate who hates Lord of the Rings? AJ hates Lord of the Rings, right?
I don't hate Lord of the Rings. I just like the books better.
Okay, you know that scene I mean from the movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I hate to compare one like fantasy epic against another because they're not based on each other and they're not ripping each other off, right? But it just called that back to me. Do you think he's really dead?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think he'd come back from that.
I think he's dead. The only reason I think he's alive was because Gandalf survived that, right? But he's not.
Yeah, but that was Gandalf.
Yeah, Gandalf the White. They don't have that in here.
Yeah. I tell you what though, it did catch me off guard though, because when he couldn't break the gate and he was trying to start, I was like, oh, that's smart. You can't break the gate, break the bridge. And he did, but the gate is what fell and not the bridge. I went, oh shit.
Yeah, well, at least the gate's closed now, because if only the bridge
Well, yeah.
fell, they could eventually make a new one. So,
But it would have stopped them long enough. And who knows how
Yeah.
much of the bridge. I was expecting like a really big section of the bridge to break. And it went. You know what it actually reminded me of? It reminded me of like an episode of the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Where like Wile E. Coyote would like saw off the end of a cliff,
it
and the
was kinda
Roadrunner
like
would
that.
stay in the air, and the whole rest of the cliff would fall.
Yep.
Like the mountain would fall instead of the cliff. Yeah.
That is kind of what
Yeah.
happened. That was
Yeah.
sad. I liked him. I didn't want him to
Yeah.
go, but yes, I do think he's gone. I don't think he'll be back.
I think he's gone too. I think you're right. There's no way to survive that. And I think that he
Well, he left his
he's
book too.
but yeah, he left his book behind, right?
Listen, if the dragon can't save a little girl, then he's not coming back.
And nobody can save Loyal. Yeah. And he
So
was a supporting character. He sacrificed himself for the cause, and
Yeah.
he's not coming back. You're right.
And I don't think he's the last, and he probably won't be the last supporting character to
yeah,
make a
Yeah.
sacrifice. Speaking of, all right, enough with Alana. Like, she better not get hurt in the next episode if this crew is even in the next episode. I thought she was definitely dead this time.
I thought she was too.
I did
Um,
too.
That
I
spear
like
went through. I actually yelled at the TV. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, come on, not again!"
like she just survived the spear to get killed by that. Yeah.
Yeah, like
but-
that spear that went through her. I didn't think they were going to be able to heal her because she just channeled all their energy. So I didn't think they were going to be strong enough to heal her.
Yeah.
And
I
then
like
turns out, I don't even know how she got healed. Did anybody catch how she got healed? Because
The little
the
girls.
girls,
yeah, they
Yeah,
had
but
she had
no-
taught them enough, I guess.
but the girls, they weren't able to do it. Remember when she was there and they're like, we can't do it. Like she couldn't do it. And then the asshat who burned their mother showed up and they fried him. So I feel like they must have, after that, they got the confidence and healed her off screen because we don't actually see them heal her this episode.
No, they don't show it. But I like the whole, like, I agree. I thought she was going to die too. But I like how they did this because I think the whole point was to show that, you know, what she said was true. There's a lot of power in the two rivers.
Oh,
and
yeah. Yeah, she
I
found
like
another.
that she was able to use their power and like, well, I don't have time to teach you, so I'm just going to borrow it for a while. Like, I like how they did that. That was interesting. Although that one poor woman sacrificed herself to make a shield at the one point. But
drunk
yeah,
lady?
I think they just got the confidence and they figured out how to do it. But I agree with you. They did not. At first, they said they couldn't do it, and they didn't. And then just you found out she was still alive. So at some
Yeah,
point, they.
and how cool were the sky daggers?
Oh, those were awesome.
Oh,
That
yeah, that was
me.
like
Was
ice.
that
or
like
something,
ice?
right?
Yeah, that was
I
ice.
thought it was ice.
I thought.
I wasn't entirely sure that even if it's ice, I still like my name Sky Daggers.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the two of them have pretty much made up now.
Oh, I would say so.
More copacetic
That was-
now together.
That was another reason I thought she might actually be dead because I've never, when she's gotten hurt before, I have never seen him react so violently himself when she's gotten hurt.
Yeah. Well, he can't lose a third second person. I mean, he lost the other guy, and
Oh
he's
yeah, it'd be right. And you know what I thought was pretty
he
cool
took it again.
was that scene with them when they started making out, and she's like, "You like this, right?" And he's like, "No, that was the other guy." And he's like, "No, he's like, this is just you and me now. We need to do something new." So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Taylor had talked when he was saying about the fig scene. I know you hadn't seen it
Yeah.
at this point
Oh,
yet,
the
but
fig scene. Yeah.
yeah, he had talked about
And he had the best line of the episode when he said, after the skydaggers, he's like, "She's going to be insufferable now."
that. Yeah. I also like that the scene of him with that one villager when they wanted the damn bow and arrows, and he's trying to teach him to use
the old
sword. They're
guy.
like, you could do better with the bow and arrows, and finally he's like, "Fine, then show me." And they never showed him showing them, but clearly he was right because they all ended up with bow and arrows, which I thought was great.
He had a good speech too when they were all ready to run after she got hurt and they were ready to run.
This episode.
And he goes, "The only people that stay behind are the stupid people that don't know any better than not give up." He's like, "So Two Rivers, what are we doing?"
Yeah. I think it worked, right?
He's like, let's be those people. Yeah. So I really enjoyed the battle scene, you guys. I hope you did too. I thought it was very well done.
On
I
paper,
think
I would have said it was too much, but I enjoyed it. I did.
I think it was. These are not always well shot and well directed, and this one I thought really was. I could really see what was going on. Right, a lot of times they take place at night, and you're like, "What the hell's going on? I can't see anything. What are you guys doing?" I thought that a lot of it was really these nighttime scenes, like this is lit so that you can actually see what's going on, which is really not the case with a lot of shows nowadays, right?
Even just that picture, you can see the Trolloc. Usually you can't.
Yeah. And I thought it made sense. Like you could understand the plan. Like the plan was to defend the gate. And when the gate failed, they fell back and they defended the town square. And it was like I always knew what was going on. I watch a lot of battles in things like, I don't know, Game of Thrones or whatever shows you're watching, The Last Kingdom, whatever. And sometimes it's just like guys running around in the dark getting stabbed and I don't really know what the hell is going on, right? And this, I felt like they had a plan. I understood it. It's well shot. It's well lit. It makes sense. I just thought for an episode that was more than half of it was the battle. I thought, I don't know if you guys have similar problems with shows with battles and stuff. Maybe I just have low expectations, which made me love this, but I liked it. I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
I don't usually have the problem you do with things being too dark. There have been times where things are too dark. I usually don't have the problem as much as you do, but no, you're right. This was very well lit. And I think the thing that made this so great was a lot of those shows that you mentioned, it's straight battle. There's nothing else. It doesn't cut away or into anything else. Where this, I thought, did a great job of, focusing on the battle for a good 10, 15 minutes. And then we, go to a different part. It's still, I mean, the whole episode was here, but it would go to another character who wasn't quite in the battle at the moment. Like, they would, switch over to Loyal and then back to the battle, or switch over to the Aiel and then back to, they would interject it with a slower part than just the nonstop battle, which I think worked really well the way they shot the scenes.
So that they're...
Whoa,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Please. Okay. So that the tension is kind of broken a little bit in a way that we need sometimes for right? The tension of the battle and people are getting stabbed and shot. And then you have that cut to like Loyal and the Aiel at the Waygate. And I see what you mean, AJ. Like it makes sense into the story of the battle, but you get this.
It breaks up the monotony of the battle.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a good way to say it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that was a great scene too, when the three of them took down everybody at the gate.
Oh, you knew they were going to. They can.
Well, of course.
Like 2 Aiel can kill like 100 normal people, right?
Yeah.
Well, they killed. I don't know how many they killed after Loyal went through the gate, and they're sitting there on the steps waiting for the reinforcements.
Yeah,
And
they're like, we need reinforcements. And they're like, yeah, hi.
they're like, hey, what's up? And they don't actually show a lot of that fighting, but then they're like back in town, so it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I texted you guys today. I wrote, God, this show has never been better, and I'm really sorry there's only one more episode. Right?
Yep.
I think that's what I wrote. Did I remember to send that?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you said that earlier.
Oh, and you know what I thought was really good, because and this is might be the first time this has happened on this show, where everybody's yelling, kill him, and Perrin's like, no. Instead, I'm going to be like, get them out of here, because if he just killed them, the battle would have continued. For once, Perrin was like, no, this enough fighting, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you know, and that just goes to show that Perrin is a character that's needed, because he's not always the first to grab a weapon unless he has to.
Yeah.
So
He's just a blacksmith. Just a
Yeah,
poor blacksmith.
I like that they. Oh, how cool was that though when he grabbed the hammer? Hasn't picked that up in a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was an awesome scene too. Like he's like, stay behind me. She's like, I already told you. He goes, no, kill the ones I miss.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And she's like, oh, cool.
Like I'm down with that.
That was a really cool scene.
Yeah.
And then of course at the end, Perrin actually hands himself over to the White Cloaks. People aren't happy about it, but he's like, no. He's like, enough already. Like.
Yeah, he says something like the only way to stop violence is for someone to say enough. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we heard that twice in this episode, right? He turns himself into Dane Barhold, who seems to be maybe deep down inside a good guy, right? Who might make sure that Perrin gets a fair trial or whatever. Now that everyone's least favorite White Cloak, Eamon Valda, is dead. Woo!
Yeah, that was awesome.
I was surprised. Were you guys surprised that he was killed?
Yes.
Yes and no, because he came on the side of good, yet he was still ready to take them out. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, it's like, we'll fight the Trollocs, but you know, but I'm going to take out an Aes Sedai while I'm at it. So I wasn't completely surprised that he got himself killed.
Well, he has tried to kill numerous Aes Sedai. He killed Matt's mother, and he was about to kill Matt's sisters.
Yeah.
I don't know how he was going to kill Matt's sisters, because they weren't locked in a cage this time.
Yeah.
And they fried his ass.
Yeah, and he also knew when they did it too. He's like, it was you. So at least you got kind of that moment of recognition, like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah. And they're like, and this is for our mother.
Yeah.
And while they are untrained and undisciplined, I think we know that in times like channeling comes out in times of emotional stress and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they've had minimal training from Alana. So I mean, I was kind of surprised. I mean, I was glad. I hate this guy. He's horrible, right?
Yeah.
The first time we met him, he tortured Egwene. I guess all of them, right? I guess the only way it could have been better is if one of our main characters killed him, but it was kind of fitting. I was surprised, but I guess, should I be surprised because he's a kind of a minor guy, right? I thought he was a main guy, but now we see that Dane Barhold is really like a more main White Cloak, right?
He's a minor guy, but a major jerk.
Yes. Are we assuming, am I wrong to assume that Dane Barhold and Perrin are going to be BFF before this series is over?
Probably.
That's my theory. At the very least, they'll respect each other enough to where his White Cloaks are going to assist in some way, shape, or form down the road.
He's going to what down the road?
Assist.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
it be the dragon. whether it be the dragon or some other fight or something, they're gonna, he's gonna realize that helping the Aes Sedai isn't a bad thing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Then again, it depends on which Aes Sedai he helps, because they're not all good.
Yeah. The White Cloaks need a little more, I don't know, story. Like the White Cloaks, they're like a religious sect, kind of, right? And they believe in
a lot of them are zealots, and that's the problem.
And they're all this like Lord of Light kind of the side of the light, whatever, but they also hate magic, right?
Yeah.
And lucky for them, only women really have magic, so they get to kill a lot of women and they don't have to kill men, really. Which makes them even shittier in my book. And so it's hard to think of them really as good guys. I mean, they wear white when they have someone like Eamon Valda is among them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Who really kind of gets off, I think, on torture and killing.
Well, I think that's the thing too, is I think now that Eamon Valda's dead, I feel I feel like Varda, he's like the next generation. Like it's like all the old timers who still believe in just killing a woman because they think she's a witch, are kind of, it's like changing the guards. So maybe it starts with him and changing what the White Cloaks stand for.
Okay, but remember the first time we met this guy, there were a bunch of people in cages, and he's like, Perrin, don't give them any water. They're being punished, right? Like, he's kind of shitty, but he has potential to grow, this guy, maybe, right?
Well, that's my point. Like, he's following orders. His father was the leader. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't, this is the type of world where, he's not only is he an underling, he's his father's underling, and if his father says jump, he says how high. Now that he doesn't have those people over top of him, like the old guard is gone, he can be the beginning of shaping new. At least I feel like that's the type of direction it's going to go.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. Anything else? I mean, nothing else happened except this amazing battle.
Yeah.
And great.
We can move on.
And all right.
Yeah, that was pretty much all the battle.
What's next?
One episode left. And,
I know. I can't believe. I'm sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I was just saying again that the interview with Taylor will go up tomorrow.
Great. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it was a good interview. He was fun.
It's like a half an hour. It's a pretty long interview. So 9:00.
I can't come tomorrow because I'm going to the Orioles game. I can't watch it live, but I'll watch it later. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Do you remember how much I hate? I mean, all of us thought this show was slow to start, and AJ and I almost stopped watching it. And now I'm so sad that we only have one more episode left this season.
I just said
really good.
I just said to Artie after we watched the episode the other night, I was like, for a year and a half, we hated this show. And for the last year and a half, we've loved this show. It just keeps getting better. I never thought I'd say that.
Usually shows don't. Usually doesn't get better as it goes.
Well, it just goes to show all those book readers that were out there saying, I know it's hard, but just stick with it. It will get better. They were right.
I question, though, if they hadn't put so much money into this show, if it ever would have made it this far.
If it wasn't on Prime, it probably wouldn't have, honestly.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I know Netflix wouldn't have.
No.
Can't imagine anywhere else that might have.
And in that sense, I got to give Prime a little credit because Prime has stuck with this show, right? Maybe you're right, Jamie. Maybe because so much money was sunk into it, they had to go with it. They have stuck with the Rings of Power, which has not gotten better and is not good, but they're sticking with it, right? And they picked up a show like The Expanse and went with it when it. I mean,
That's because Bezos loved The Expanse.
I know, but they.
Thank God.
I mean, look, they have canceled stuff that I liked, but and they don't appear to have any real strategy as a streamer, and no one knows what the hell is going on at Prime. But they do tend to stick. They do seem to stick with shows they believe in, and I got to
Yes,
give them credit for
do.
that.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, very rarely do you see them cancel a show because they felt like it. Once in a while, yes. But for the most part, they give their shows quite a bit of chance.
With their originals, yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, so there are shows that we have watched and that I don't like, and Jamie says, "No, it'll get better. Keep watching it." And I'm like, "Shut up, Jamie! You're driving me crazy." But I don't remember it, Jamie.
I
don't
didn't like
think
this at the beginning
you
either.
didn't like this at the beginning either. You had not watched ahead, and you were not like,
No, I mean, I had watched like the first season, the beginning of it when I had covered it because I did the junket right way back when it started, but I had a hard time getting into it.
I think you're not a huge fantasy epic person.
Not of this kind of fantasy usually. No, I mean, I like fantasy, but like you're right, like the epic sprawling tons and tons of cast across tons and tons of miles of
That's not
That's what this has become.
Yeah.
If it was like 50 vampires, maybe, but
yeah,
if it's 50 humans, forget it.
No, you might be right. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Like I said before, though, the thing is, I was always a big Lord of the Rings movie fan, but I feel like now, if they came out, I would not want to sit and watch them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. My tastes have changed over the years, I guess. But no, but I do really enjoy this. Regardless, it's done really well, and I'm really enjoying it.
I think that is Foundation on Prime also.
No, that's on Apple.
No,
That's on
it's
Apple.
Apple. But yeah,
another
that show kind of has the same.
Another one that was hard to
Problem
get
for me.
through. Had
Yeah.
to slog through the tons of characters, hundreds of years. Yeah.
What you call it? Also, what's the other one we like, Karen? The other alien show.
Dune? The other
No,
what show?
On Apple, the other alien show.
Oh, Invasion.
Thank you. Couldn't think of the
I
name
don't
of
know
it.
if you'll ever see that show.
That's very slow to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the I don't know if it's just they've over photoshopped the picture because you can tell this picture has been airbrushed like to death. Who's the person between Loyal and Lan? Who is that?
I have no.
Looks like Alana, but I'm not sure. Is that Alana?
I think it's Alana.
Okay, it doesn't really look like Alana. I thought it might be, but I wasn't sure.
It doesn't really look like Alana.
No, it doesn't. But I can't think who else it would be.
Who else it could be? Right. Okay, I just wondered. I was looking at it and thinking that
It's
really doesn't
either
look like
Liana or Leanne, but I feel like it looks more like Ilana.
Yeah.
I
guess.
And I don't see her. Maybe
she's in she's behind Parent.
No, because there Alana looks like Alana. So
yeah,
and a lot of people from the same promotional photos. So
I think it's just bad. They just did a bad brush.
I said it looks like the whole paint photo's been airbrushed a lot of times.
It's just a bad picture.
Not just on her. I mean on everybody's it looks like.
Yeah. Everybody's a little off. But anyway.
All right. Do you want to do some Daredevil or Surreal?
Do Surreal because we always finish with Daredevil.
All right, SurrealEstate, episode 302.
Yes.
I forget the title of this episode.
I don't know, but I can tell you if you wait a second.
It was called who cares? Well, whatever. It was
Night Terrors.
Night Terrors. Good name for it. So I really thought, Jamie, that they were setting this up for a werewolf story. I was sure that kid was a werewolf.
I did too. I liked that it wasn't what you expected.
I guess I do too. I hadn't really thought about it that way, but I like that it wasn't what I expected also. It really, I thought, it was just being totally set up to. I don't have a picture of that kid, but the story is like
his father, I think, is in there, but there was no pictures of him.
Yeah, the story is that this guy wants to sell his house. It's not a haunted house.
It's first about his kid was dying, so he bought a cure, which was putting a demon in him because his kid had cancer and was dying, and by doing that, it saved him. But yeah, kind of The demon's trying to get out now.
He like went to Iraq, they said, right? Meets like a shaman and basically buys a demon, and by the demon, I guess the demon cured the
kid, to be fair.
What?
He did cure the kid, to be fair. Or it.
Well, yeah, because I guess the demon is like immortal or whatever, or and it did cure the kid from having cancer, but now every single night his body is taken over by a demon, right?
Yeah, and it sounds like kind of tore apart by the demon, but he heals by morning, from what they said.
Oh yeah, he sometimes is like bruised and stuff or whatever, right?
Yeah, and he's got cuts and stuff that all which was I think why it kind of sounded like it was a werewolf the way they did it.
Yeah. I mean, the guy was very shifty from the beginning, right? Like it took Susan kind of a long time to be like, hey, by the way, Luke, can you come with me and check out this house because my seller is sketchy, but he just wants to sell it as fast as he can, and she's very.
At first, it seemed like he was just keeping a kid prisoner. Sorry.
No, you're right, and she's all snoopy, like she snoops all around the house, and she can't really find anything, but so every night he like tears everything up. I was sure he was a werewolf. I think we had a werewolf episode in the past on this show, right?
I don't know. Was there? Because usually they're always related to spirits or demons.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of an interesting twist that it usually is that the house is haunted, and in this case, it was like a person who was haunted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And he hurt that, I guess that one that was his best friend, he must have hurt him pretty bad that his father came over and screamed at him, but we never really found out what happened to him though. But I guess he was okay in the end.
No, I mean, he the kid's name is Elliot, I think, right? No, Jalen.
I don't know, but he plays Elliot in The Way Home. I don't know about
him. He plays Elliot in The Way Home. His name is Jalen on the show. And Jalen, remember the bars, like in the kind of near the end of the episode, the bars are bent on the window. He has gotten out of the house and attacked his friend or whatever, right? Which was right after the father, who is in this picture here, has said like, oh, he never hurts anybody. He would never attack another person.
Well, he was able to keep him prisoner until then.
Yeah.
But yeah, the bars had kept him in until this point.
Yeah. I mean, it was really kind of a sad episode, I think. I mean, it was a sad story, right? Like that like the father put it, so I'm going to use this term loosely, Jamie. It's like he sold the child's soul kind of to the devil. Not really, but he was
willing to do anything to save him, including letting him be taken over by a demon. But at night though, because I think, didn't he say something that like it was only at night? Like I think he made a comment like that.
Somewhere. But it means the kid can have no life. Like he can't like a part of this episode from the beginning was that the kid like can't have any friends. He's not allowed to have friends.
I guess boys don't call it a slumber party. He couldn't go over a kid's house and spend the night.
He couldn't spend the night at his friend's house. He couldn't have friends over. He couldn't have any kind of life, this kid.
And he knew why, because he forgot, like he would not remember what happened. Because I got the opinion that the father never even explained to him why. Did you get that opinion? That maybe would have been a little less mean if he had explained it and been like, well, no, you might kill somebody. Then he wanted to go out so much.
I totally agree with you. The boy did not know. He didn't know what his father had done. I don't know if he even ever knew he had cancer. He didn't know.
I think he knew he had cancer and he got better. I think he didn't know what he was doing at night. It was just, that's why I said it was like when Susan first went there, it was like he's got this kid barred in his room at night. Like he's just really mean, and you don't understand like why he's keeping him prisoner at night.
But the son didn't know either. It's only
that's what I mean.
It's late in the episode. Jalen sets up his cell phone to record himself when he changes or whatever, right? And then he's like, Dad, what's happening to me? What's going on? It's obvious that he has no idea that he goes through a transformation at night and that
Yeah,
all
he
this stuff
just
happens to him, right?
yeah, he just knows he has night terrors and he thinks that he makes a mess or whatever, I guess, was kind of the idea. Not enough that it would
Well,
preclude you from being around people necessarily.
I think, Jamie, didn't they say several times in the episode that it's a sleepwalking disorder?
Yes, but
Right?
I assume he had nightmares too, was supposed to have. But yes, that's right, he did. He was supposed to have slept walked, however you say that, sleepwalked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did say that.
And I mean, so this is not a very deep show with a lot of context for analysis, but there's
No,
part
it was better.
there's this part where by the end of it, the child Jalen is like, "No, Dad, I want to have a life. Like, I don't care if I'm gonna have cancer and die. I'd like to have a life for a short time, then live longer and be locked in my room for my entire life." Right?
Yeah.
It was kind
Yeah,
of sad.
it is. It is. He just wanted to have, yeah, a good life, even if it didn't last. And I guess his father finally saw that, but we don't know we don't know whether he got sick again. We don't get to know that, but
No, but we know how he was saved
yes.
basically by Augie, right?
Yes, he stole equipment from his girlfriend's work. Well, it's his work now, where he was working too. And he stole it and smuggled it out of there. And he's like, well, it was to save a kid, and that's what mattered. So, he's Augie.
Yeah. And he and Rochelle just had a conversation last week where she's like, you can't, like, you got to be in, right? And she's like, you can't keep seeing Luke. You can't keep stealing Astra technology. You can't have two jobs, basically, one that you do for free. Like, you have to commit. And
do you think that that's kind of not fair, though? A little bit, like,
No.
not working for both places, but as long as he's not, now he shouldn't be stealing their equipment, don't get me wrong, but I mean, if he wants to see and help Luke on his own time, I think it's kind of, I don't know, a little too controlling to be like, you're not allowed to work with them unless it's like a non-compete thing. But I
disagree. He probably has an ultra top secret clearance. He works for super, like, I mean,
yeah,
yes,
I said as long as he isn't sharing secrets and sharing their equipment. I mean,
he is. He's taking their equipment out of there all the time.
Yes,
all the
that
time.
part's very bad.
Right?
Yeah.
And I know that at my job, my NDA includes anything that I invent or create is owned by the company, right?
Yeah.
Like, now I don't work I'm a writer. I don't work in a role that I invent or create. I mean, I create written products, but I don't, like, I have colleagues who, like, maybe they build a database or they have a new technique for whatever, right? Who knows? But my NDA says anything and it's a pretty standard, boring NDA that I have, right? So I'm sure that Augie would have
well, he might also have a non-compete clause that says he can't work anywhere else.
Well, I mean, yes and yeah, or not like that. Like, I have a non-compete, but it doesn't prevent me from working as a bartender, right? I have two jobs.
Well, yeah,
they don't care about my bartending job. Augie
just can't work as the same type of job.
Right. Presumably working in real estate would not be a problem, except for what he does is invent crazy things, right?
Yep.
So I think he is wrong. I think Augie is wrong. But he just can't stay away. He can't, what he really loves is the paranormal, right? I mean, we saw last week how everybody treats him at his job. It's kind of sad. I do feel, I mean, I feel sorry for him because he's probably not in the right place. I think, does he want to be at Astra, or does he think he should want to be at Astra? Or he's just there, he's in love with Rochelle and that's why he works there, right?
Yeah, I mean, he can be in love with her and not work there. I think that joining her in her company was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Or rejoining her, I should say, at the company, since he was there before.
Yeah, when he was young. But I mean, he routinely, like, takes technology out of their office to go ghost busting, right? Yeah. What did you think when she fired him?
Yeah, I mean, I understood why she fired him, but at least she doesn't seem to be going to do anything about it, thankfully. I mean, he's right, though. He's like, because I think she said, doesn't she say something like, how's he feel or whatever? And he said, well, I saved a kid's life. Like, That
Yeah.
was his priority. And was that the wrong priority? In her mind, yeah, I'm sure it was, but like I kind of get his point of view. Like
Well,
that was important. And at least she isn't like, she cares about him. She's not gonna like sue him because he did it. So
right.
there's
I mean,
that, I
she has
guess.
a job. She has a job to do. I mean,
Yes.
I think that if there was more minutes in the show, maybe she would say, okay, saving a kid, yeah, that's a good thing. But you can't take our top secret equipment out of our
You're still
office.
fired. You still can't work here. But
Yeah.
whether they're broken up over it, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. But yes, fired. He should definitely be fired. You can't
I
do
mean,
that.
maybe
whether
it'd be
it's
nice if
somebody
she could
else.
just love him for who he wants to. Like, if he could just, I mean, I guess he'll come back to Roman Ireland now, and it would be nice if maybe they could still be he could still be with Rochelle. But yes, him getting fired is probably a good thing for him, right?
And
Like,
for us, because we want him back. So
he's just not in the right place.
yeah.
And I said to you last week, like, I don't care if he comes back, like if everybody comes back, what are they doing with all these characters? Are they coming back? Are they leaving? Blah, blah, blah. But Augie coming back, this storyline works for me the way they wrote it this week.
Yes.
If he were to come back to Roman Ireland, I think they've done a good job of, it's been 3 years, right? He gave it 3 years at Astra. So we don't have a picture, but there's another storyline where they had a new assistant who almost worked out. Audrey was her name, right? I thought she was going to make it.
Yeah, I did too. I was sad that they scared her off. I was like, you need to ease her into it, man.
I think so too, because we talked last week about how if they're going to bring back everybody who quit, Zoe makes the least sense in terms of coming back to Roman Ireland, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how she can come back as easy as he did. Unless, like I said, unless she decides she doesn't like doing that. I mean, she does tend to change her mind a lot. But yeah, I'm not sure how she can come back. I was surprised. I really thought that girl was going to stick it out.
Right? She seemed to be a good fit. Susan seemed to really like her. And I thought she maybe would go along with all the whole paranormal. And then in the end, she's like, oh, no, I have to quit, right?
Like, this is too
She
much.
seemed really... Like when they mentioned like what do they call them, metaphysically engaged properties, she didn't even really blink. She seemed kind of into it, and she wanted to come, right? She wanted to come to the office, to the house, and I mean,
yeah, she had to have known that something like, I mean, I would assume that she knew kind of what she was getting into. I guess she just didn't realize how dangerous it could be. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe she'll come back. I just don't. I mean, for me, Zoe, I just don't see her going to law school. What does that cost? $200,000, right? I don't know.
I don't know, a lot.
And then she's been working as a lawyer, and then to come back and be a receptionist for what? Maybe she comes back and she becomes an agent, and she could make more money being an agent.
That
right?
I could see. Or maybe, hey, maybe she becomes their lawyer. Like maybe they need a legal department for some reason. I could see that.
I could see them I could see a whole part of the story we're not seeing of them getting sued all the time, right?
Yeah, I could see that. That would be a great way to bring her back.
Yeah. I mean, it also could be a way of having every character in every episode, you've got to pay them all. Does Zoe show up for 1 or 2 episodes and she's great and we love her, but they don't pay her to show up in every episode, right?
No, but they need somebody to be their secretary, whether it's Zoe or somebody else.
And I'd be perfectly happy with Audrey, right?
Yeah.
But I think having a new assistant, we've gone through 2 or 3 assistants now, and like I could be done with that. Like, Jamie, you're younger than I am. Did you ever watch Murphy Brown?
Tiny bit. Not a lot.
So one of the on-running jokes was that she had a new assistant in almost every single episode because she was such a giant bitch. She kept firing them all. And there's like a series of guest stars who sit in as the assistant for like 1 episode all the time. This is not that show, right?
No,
we're not
it's
interested in seeing that.
Yeah, I don't. yeah, I don't know. I assume that they have to hire somebody, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's not that character has to be whoever is their secretary doesn't have to have a big like part of the plot. But Zoe was in it a lot. But I think she could sell houses too. I think that would work. But
Yeah. Have her be
I
an
don't
agent.
know.
But
I
then
mean, you have to get trained for that. Although I think she went through training. Didn't she go through
I
training?
think she
before
did,
tried?
but
Then she decided she didn't like it or something.
I mean, but then also to have Luke and Susan and Lomax and like we can't have too many agents either, right? Like we got to find a way for all these people to be part of it. Anyway, there's one other part of the storyline, which is creepy mustache Tyler.
Yeah, that is the guy that has a spirit of somebody who was stuck in that toy elephant that is mad at Luke's father and therefore going after Luke.
So he actually says, I am Elvis the elephant, which is kind of weird because
that was very weird. It made it seem like the elephant came to life and was evil. I meant to ask you about that. That was weird script. And I mean, maybe that will be the case, but I tend to think they might have just scripted it weird because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think you're right because he like I could see like Joe Blow it gets like trapped inside the elephant, like right, they put the spirit, the demon, whatever in the elephant, and then Carl throws the elephant in the lake, and a million years later like he gets out of the elephant and he's like, oh, I'm John Doe, I escaped the elephant. But no, he's like, I am Elvis the elephant. Like, is it really a possessed elephant? Like, no,
unless it was like a nickname or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that seems like a scripting thing. You're right, Jamie. But he almost like this. It's funny. We talked about last week what this could mean, but Tyler almost stabbed Luke in this episode, right? Like he had the chance. He was about to put a machete in Luke's back when that religious guy came to the door. That like Mormon guy or whatever he was.
Which, by the way, if somebody offers me $1 million, I take the $1 million. No, he's scary. You don't want to take it off of him. But I mean, I'm like, go find another church, dude.
Well, and it was very creepy and weird. Like he basically
he was creepy. I'm just teasing. He was creepy and weird.
Well, I mean, what was like really so again, not a very deep show, but this is a religious person who comes to the door. It's a person of faith, and he basically is like, I'll give you $1 million if you like everybody said, but basically like abandon the church, abandon your faith, admit there's no God, something like that, right?
Yeah, I think he says more than abandon the church, because that's why I said otherwise say go find another church. But I think he did say.
I think he meant like not the church you go to, like the church writ large, like abandon your faith is what he meant, right?
Yeah.
Which is I took it to mean that he meant more like stop having faith, whatever. It was kind of evil.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm joking about it, but he was evil. He was creepy. And that guy's like, no. And then he comes back and he's like, I'll do it. And he's like, the offer expired.
Yeah. I mean, fair to joke about it. It's a jokey show. It's not a serious show about religion. I just meant like it was so there's always everything this guy does is like a little malicious, right?
Yeah.
He's a creepy.
All because this guy knocked at his door and annoyed him was basically the whole.
Yeah.
Reason. Well, and I thought he was going to kill the guy. I really did.
I did too, considering that he almost like knifed Luke in the back, right?
Yeah.
Macheted Luke already. Which I mean, we know is not going to happen because it's episode 2, and also we need to learn more, like why.
Yeah, if they kill Luke, unless he's like a ghost and still on the whole show, I'm done. Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
But like, if I hate you and I want to punish you by killing your child, it wouldn't do any good if you're already dead. Like the point, I feel like he wants.
Yeah, it seems like he has a vendetta against him as well. But it sounds like whatever happened with him and Carl, like Luke was a kid, so I was a little confused by that. The only thing I could come up with was unless the elephant belonged to Luke.
But
maybe I don't know if that even makes sense, but that was the only thing I could come up with. Because if he was a kid, why would he like hold a grudge against him?
Right. And if you want to kill Luke like in Revenge Against Carl, what good does it do if Carl doesn't know about it?
Yeah.
Right. Doesn't it kind of take away the sting to be like, let me let me kill your child over your yeah. So I don't know what he's getting at, but they're doing a good job. He's creepy. They're doing a kind of a good job having again, I don't always love a season long arc on a show like this, but
it didn't really have a season long arc before, did it? Or did it? I guess last season it was with the whole house kidnapping Susan. So yeah, I guess it did have.
Yeah, and the season before was Megan's haunted house. Was the season long arc, right? And of course Luke's mother also.
Yeah. So this is the continuity of the season.
Yeah.
But do you like this episode better than?
I did.
Okay, good. I figured you would.
I mean, like I complained about a few things that probably will shake out. The things that I complained about tonight might shake out as the next couple episodes happen, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I generally like this show.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a sci-fi show. It's not super heavy.
Yeah, it's not a deep sci-fi show. It's a fun sci-fi show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, yeah, I enjoyed it.
All right.
The next one is called Death Does a Refi. So.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
Death Does a Refi.
Yep.
Cute name. All right. So that'll be up for next week's discussion.
Yes.
All righty.
All right. Now we do Daredevil Born Again.
Okay. AJ.
Hello.
Do we have a comment in the chat about this? No.
No, just Jen. Hello, Jen. That was it. Jen saying hi, and then mine. And then it repeating 6 times when I replied.
Daredevil Born Again. This also is the second to last episode of the season.
Yes.
And it is called, I forget what it was called, this episode. The title is, I don't know.
I just kept feeling like his girlfriend was going to find out he was Daredevil. And by the time this episode was done, I just don't know. But that was what I felt through a lot of it. I kept thinking she's going to figure it out. And then no.
Yeah. Maybe she'll find out next week. I don't know. So AJ, you've been quiet for a while. So why don't you jump in first?
I was quiet for a while because I don't watch that other show.
I know, but yeah.
No, why is there a fly? It's not the weather for a fly, but I have had a fly in my office for 2 days and it's driving me nuts. I'm sorry. It keeps flying in front of me. I'm like, go away.
Yeah. Isle of Joy. Episode is entitled Isle of Joy.
Not sure what that's about.
AJ,
overall, I enjoyed the episode a lot. I was very happy that Bullseye is back in the fold. I was missing him. So a little FYI about this entire crazy season. I don't know how much you guys know, but when Daredevil was originally announced, it was going to be 18 episodes.
Yeah.
And they were going to be half-hour episodes.
Over 2 years, right?
And no, 18 episodes in the first season.
Woo!
I think I'd prefer half.
All right,
like
hold
less
on.
Episodes, longer episodes.
Well, I'll tell you why the change. So, the people they hired to be the writers were writing it a lot more like She-Hulk. They were half-hour episodes. They focused mostly in the courtroom, and Kevin Feige saw what they were doing, and he said, "No, this is not what we're doing," and he fired them. Okay. And then he went and found the guys that ran the Netflix show and said, "All right, continue wherever you guys left off." So they repurposed all the footage that we've seen since the second episode until the last episode. They repurposed it all, like they put it in different orders. They shot some stuff to create a completely different story.
They repurposed the half-an-hour pieces, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
These last 2 episodes are completely new, completely original, and had nothing to do with the original crew that was doing everything, along with also the premiere episode was.
So these last 2, meaning the demise of Muse and the return of Bullseye?
No, this episode and the finale. Muse was always part of the storyline, but it was done differently, I guess.
All right.
Like they wrote some other stuff and they repurposed a lot of the stuff that we saw.
They must have only
Specifically,
repurposed part of it though, because they couldn't have fit 18 half-an-hour shows in 7 episodes.
well, yeah,
so,
obviously.
that's
Yeah, they
the
didn't use all of it because a lot of it was cases. It was like a case, each episode, from what I had read, was like a case of the week type of thing.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, that's not what Daredevil's about. So anyway, which is where I've been very excited for these last 2 episodes because I want to see how it all plays out, because I've been missing Bullseye, because I felt like in the first episode, it's like, okay, yeah, because originally Karen and Foggy were not in the show and neither was Bullseye. So it was like, you bring them back, you kill Foggy, Karen goes to San Francisco, and Bullseye goes to prison, and we haven't seen him since. So I was like, all right, now we finally got Bullseye back in the picture when he breaks out of prison, which I thought was a really fun scene. The scene with Heather and Matt, I don't want to say I was on the edge of my seat, but I was like, oh, this conversation is not going well. Like, she was comparing Daredevil and Muse, and she was like, Daredevil's no different than Muse, and I was like,
really?
Daredevil's not a serial killer, and Daredevil has never killed anybody. To be fair, though, he did try to kill Bullseye in the first episode, but that was the first time, which is why Matt was so distraught and hung up the hood this whole time, because that's always been his thing. He's never crossed the line, and he did when he threw Bullseye off the roof, even though he didn't die.
But like Matt says to Heather, he says, but Muse tried to kill you and Daredevil saved you. And Heather still doesn't.
Yeah, she's like, I saved myself.
I know,
Which actually, you shot Muse after he was already fighting Daredevil and didn't even see you pick up the gun. Like, had Daredevil not showed up, you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah, she just doesn't really. I mean, I don't know.
It's interesting because she's very Fisk-like with her opinion, which I thought was interesting.
She is.
Yeah.
And then I tell you what, my favorite scene though was when Fisk takes Vanessa to see Adam, and I'm sitting there going, I'm like, she's gonna shoot him, she's gonna kill him,
That was
and she did.
So why do you guys think she killed him?
Because she's as bad as Fisk.
So there's no element of her shooting at him kind of to save him from being held prisoner and beaten and tortured by her husband. I'm not saying that's a good thing to do, but there's no element of mercy there.
Not for my take.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, I've seen the first 3 seasons, so I kind of know who Vanessa is a little more than you guys do.
Yeah.
But you do have to remember, she was running the underworld until Fisk came back to run.
Yeah. But yeah, I think as soon as she went in there, I'm like, she's totally gonna kill him.
Ooh, Jamie, you're very echoey.
Sorry, hold on, let me get set up.
Oh, that sounds better already, Jamie.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I was moving. I told you I was moving over to my iPad. I at least got rid of feedback by exiting out all the way of the other one before I came in. So,
I mean, I guess maybe, I know we're jumping all around this episode. I know, Jamie, you'd rather kind of maybe follow kind of in order, but
that's okay.
I mean, I guess maybe Vanessa killing Adam was also, it was a loyalty test, right? Like Fisk is like, you can shoot him or set him free, but it was a test, right? And she had to, either she's afraid of Fisk. I'm gonna just mute Jamie for a second while she does this. Either she's afraid of Fisk or she's truly committed to him. But either way, it was a test, right?
You know, I didn't really think of it as a test because I thought even he was a little surprised that she shot him.
Maybe he didn't think she'd pass the test. That's why you give someone a test, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I hadn't really thought of it in that way because I was expecting her to shoot him. But yeah, you're probably right.
Maybe he was just hoping she would.
It makes sense that that's what he was doing. which is really great. And she did it because she's loyal to him. Because you see in the scene later at the mayor's ball or whatever the hell that was, she says to Heather, "Oh yeah, we don't need to see you anymore. We're great."
Oh yeah, she's like, we're all back to being happy. Yeah, we don't need any more. We don't need any more therapy or whatever.
So, what'd you guys think about the episode?
Jamie?
I liked it. I mean, not as much happened in this episode. I did like finding out that she was the one that let, the whole thing with Bullseye, that she set it up. Because see, I thought what was coming is I thought that Fisk got him out, which is partially Matt's fault. He got to prison because he's the one to beat him up, but just a little bit.
Yeah.
But which is funny. But I thought the plan was going to be that Fisk got him out of prison so he would start attacking people at the party and Matt would turn into Daredevil and save everybody, and then he could arrest Matt. That was where I thought it was going. So I was happy that it didn't. I did not expect Matt to get shot. And the thing is, I know that he was trying to save Heather, but it definitely looked like he jumped in front of Fisk. So he really can't be mad at him right now, or at least not publicly mad at him.
Well, think about the conversation they had in this scene here where Dex says to him, because Matt, he's like, "Why are you here? You're a lawyer. You hate me." But Dex says to him, I don't remember the exact line, but a good man will save his enemy, whereas a bad man will something, whatever. And it comes
that was
to
the
play
point
later.
to get him to save Fisk.
Well, it just comes to play later. It's not why he said
that's
it.
what happened.
It comes,
Right.
Yeah,
no,
it
I
comes
mean,
back
it's like
around later
foreshadowing.
and prove. Yeah, it foreshadowed. Thank you.
So I mean, I was glad they brought Bullseye back. By the way, I almost just called him Blind Spot again. I don't know why I have a mental block on his name, but I have a blind spot when it comes to Bullseye. I kind of was glad that they brought him back, but I had a few questions here. Who decided who? So he gets put into general population, right? And I wasn't sure why that was, and I didn't really understand. So when they put him into general population, the guards put him in there, and they say something like "Good luck, Agent Poindexter."
Yeah,
and
that part confused me.
Okay, I'll explain.
I read it, but please do explain,
Yes.
Jay.
He used to be an FBI agent, and a lot of those guys in there, he put away.
So this is another example where people like me and Jamie, who didn't watch the previous, they're relying on you to have watched the previous, and we hadn't, right?
Yes.
Right. And they put him in, and his hands are still restrained, which on the one hand, I was like, well, that's not really fair that I'm to get killed. But his superpower is that he can pretty much kill anyone with his bare hand. He can make a weapon out of anything is his superpower, right?
Yeah.
Or his particular talent or whatever.
Yeah. He's always had really good aim.
Really good aim. Bullseye. But who had him moved to Gen Pop? Fisk?
Fisk's wife, as far as I understood. I'm not sure why, but
Vanessa did. They assumed it was Fisk, but it was actually Vanessa.
yeah, but what was her purpose?
To get him killed.
Why?
Because he knew that she hired him, not Fisk.
Hired him to do what?
To shoot
to
Foggy.
Kill Foggy. Oh, to kill Foggy.
Okay,
Right.
so the part that he escaped then was not planned by them at all. Okay.
No.
But I was trying
Nope.
to.
That was because Matt decided to smash his face.
Okay.
Yes. So when Matt came to visit him and Matt breaks his jaw, Matt smashes his face, breaks his jaw because Matt wants him to get sent to the infirmary because Matt knows he'll be able to escape once they take these things off his hands. But he uses his broken tooth as a projectile. He has the strongest tongue in the world, and he spits out that
Well, I don't think Matt wanted him to escape, did he? Or did I
Yes,
No.
yes.
that?
No, Matt got angry, and at least I don't think Matt wanted him to escape. I don't know what Matt.
I thought Matt did it on purpose to help him to escape.
Why would Matt help the guy that killed Foggy escape?
Well,
Yeah,
because
I'm
he was
not-
going to be murdered in general population.
Yeah, but
Matt
escaping
still has
wouldn't
code.
put him in gun pop. Escape would get him escaped out into the world. So
Yeah, Matt just smashed his face because Matt let his anger get the best of him.
yeah, that was definitely how I took it. I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a possibility, but yeah, I'm not sure why he would want him out killing people.
So you guys have good points. Maybe I just totally don't really understand.
Because it's I can see why you think that, but every person that Bullseye kills after he gets out of prison, Matt would never forgive himself because those are people that are dead because Matt helped them, and that is not something that people do.
I'm gonna disagree, and I'm still gonna think that Matt did it intentionally.
Okay.
Because right before Matt does that, Poindexter says, "I can only show you who hired me from outside of prison." And after Matt smashes his face, Poindexter thanks him for it. He says, "Thank you," right? So I just felt like
I get what you're saying, and I understand why you think that, but I mean,
Okay,
Matt figures it out without him. Matt figures it out
I
without
thought
him.
that was more like sarcasm. Like I didn't take it as he literally thought he was getting him out to find out.
Matt does figure it out without him, but it's by chance. It's a chance encounter that helps Matt figure it out, right? In the bar.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Matt hadn't at the point that I don't know. I'm gonna just keep that. I think it was. I just read it as intentional, and we'll see where it goes. How's that?
Fair enough.
And I don't think Matt necessarily expected that Bullseye was good. Bullseye is that his name? Was going to show up at the ball and try to kill Fisk. Also, okay. Here's another question, AJ. Do we think Bullseye knows that Matt is Daredevil?
No.
I don't think so either. I think he doesn't know.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. I hadn't really thought about it. Yeah, because
unless Vanessa told him, he does not.
Okay.
So there's nothing in the previous 3 seasons that makes you think that he knows.
Yeah.
And I think he doesn't know because
why would he? Is there a reason though why he would think that Matt would care so much about Foggy though, or is it just?
Because Foggy's Matt's best friend.
They were legal
Yes,
partners.
but I mean, okay, that's true, but that isn't. Never mind. But that isn't Daredevil's. But okay, never mind. Mixed up. I see what you're saying.
He's not
I was
Daredevil.
thinking, like, yeah, he didn't talk to him as Daredevil, so he wouldn't know Daredevil was upset. Got it.
Yeah.
I was cringing though when I thought he was going to make a scene.
When you thought what?
When I thought Matt was going to make a scene and like just
at the ball,
stand up and start screaming. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that was going to go well, but you know, it clearly did not go how I expected. What did you guys think about the whole thing with BB and I forget what he is, him, but
Daniel.
also
the new director, the new deputy mayor for communications.
Yeah. No, I meant yes, but that wasn't. I was meaning her conversation with the one who's the retired cop. I can't think of what
the captain.
Job title. Yeah, the captain.
Or the commissioner.
Commissioner. I don't know, whatever job he has. But anyway, that he's kind of working against Fisk, and now she's going to as well, because I guess she has another pseudonym she's publishing under to counteract what she's doing for him, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, she's been playing both sides the whole time, you know, playing this whole, you know, she's using her real name and everything to get close and doing, you know, putting what they want out there so that she can get close enough to get the dirt and whatever her pseudonym is, because she knows that Fisk was the prime suspect in her uncle's murder.
Yeah.
So that's what she's
so turns out that she's actually doing other reporting under a different name, which we don't know what it is right now, right?
No, we don't.
Which makes her sort of like she's wearing a mask also, right? Like she's kind of a journalist vigilante, maybe, right?
they have a name for those. They're called investigative reporters.
Okay.
She's undercover, Karen.
Yeah.
But what I did like about that scene with the commissioner was he's like, I got some skeletons I can share.
Yeah. His name is I forget his name, but anyway, I like that guy.
Well, yeah, he's the only cop that we've seen that
I
isn't
didn't
total.
know that he was gonna stick up.
Well, we knew from the first time. I mean, from the first time Fisk coerced him into not retiring.
Yeah, but he hated him, and I thought he would just go along with it. So it was nice to see that he's kind of like refusing to back down.
Well, I mean, he's been going along, but
but he's, I guess, deciding that he's going to make waves. And meanwhile, that task force is getting even worse. Like that, they went in the place that with the waiters and hurt that guy's hand for no reason.
Oh yeah, when the
guy was taking pictures.
It's like, that's police brutality. And they're like, no, this is police brutality. And like stick his hand in the, But they, they assault all kinds of people. They're all kinds of terrible.
Yeah, I know. I think dirty cops. I knew they were dirty cops, but they're beyond that.
Yeah.
Well, because they've been given carte blanche by Fisk. So they are even worse than they were before.
Yeah.
They
need to take
before they fry his hand. I liked how Fisk was meeting with people, and the only one we really see is when he meets with swordsmen.
Oh yeah, that was
great. And tells him that he knows he's swordsmen.
And he's
but you see him meeting with a lot of people. Oh, and actually the blonde woman, I forget who she was or what her thing was, but she had talked down to Fisk earlier, and when Swordsman was talking to her earlier in the episode, she's like, "Oh no, Fisk and I are fine. He's really great. I gotta go." So Fisk has already got something over her. But that scene with Swordsman was to show us that every person that he went into that room and talked privately with, he's basically blackmailing all those people.
Well, is Swordsman? I don't remember who Swordsman is, or if I'm supposed to remember who Swordsman is.
He was in Hawkeye.
He was in Hawkeye.
He was the boyfriend. So Kate's mother had a boyfriend, and he turns out that he, by the end of it, is Swordsman. So he's like a vigilante.
I guess I don't remember the Swordsman part of it. Like, I don't remember what he did. Is he good?
He's really great with a sword, and he's a vigilante.
Good.
But he's not a bad guy. I assumed he was a bad guy, but okay.
He's not a bad guy anymore.
He was a bad guy. So Kate's mother was terrible, and her boyfriend was terrible. But by the end of the season, he was no longer terrible, and he knows how to wield a sword. And he's a good guy. Like her mother, they were bad, but he kind of comes around.
I don't know. I don't know why I don't remember it,
but he has had he didn't do any like great vigilante adventures in Hawkeye, and he's done none on the show. And we don't really, if you haven't watched,
that's not true. Like it's swords. Like when they earlier or blah blah in earlier episodes. When they were talking about vigilantes and stuff, there's actually during the BB report, there's one kid who's like, "Check this guy. This guy's good with swords."
Oh yeah.
And it was actually a shot of vigilante saving somebody.
Yeah.
So it's his stuff's been off screen.
It's very low level, but he's a good guy. But he's a vigilante, swordsman. I guess he saves people and stabs people with swords. He's a swordsman.
He's getting threats.
And so Fisk is trying to co-opt him onto his side, get him to join his task force or whatever his side.
Well, donations. I think that's what he's getting from all these people.
Oh, he's like, give me money or I'll out you as a swordsman, right?
Yeah, basically. And I don't know what he has on other people the one percenters, but he's got something on everybody, which doesn't surprise me because he was an crime boss for so long. I'm sure he knows everybody's dirty little secrets. And now he's just using those tactics in the mayoral office, which goes to show that's how he got the whole Red Hook project pushed through so quickly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the end of the episode, I don't have a picture of it, but Matt shows up to that's Vanessa. Matt shows up to this ball that Heather's been invited to, who she was kind of a bitch about being invited, and Matt was a bitch about not wanting to go. But in the end, he shows up, right, to be her date. Matt shows up. And
very late.
But also blind spot, Bullseye shows up. Right? And he takes a shot at Fisk, and Matt jumps in front of the bullet and takes the bullet.
Yeah.
Please discuss.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was trying to protect Heather and ended up in front of Fisk, or he actually was trying to jump in front of Fisk.
Heather was on the other side of him.
Yeah, I think he purposely jumped in front of Fisk, but I guess it's like you said, a good guy protects his enemy.
But
I'm curious where it's going to go from there.
I definitely feel like that's it because of the whole foreshadowing. But until I see the finale, I'm kind of curious if it was just a natural reaction that Matt does, or if he was specifically trying to save Fisk.
I think it was a natural reaction, but the other thing, I mean, it might have been a little bit of both, but the other thing is he was blaming Fisk for something he didn't do, though, too, and he realized it wasn't him, so maybe he's kind of like, he can't be mad at him for what he was mad at him for because he didn't do it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I think that Matt is a guy that wants everyone to go to justice and go to jail. Like, Matt doesn't really, that's why when he threw Bullseye off the roof, he took off the suit, right? Like, Matt wants everyone to come to justice, not to be killed. And so is he trying to save Fisk from being killed? Because, I mean, he doesn't know who's shooting, right? He doesn't know Bullseye's who the shooter is.
He does, because he overheard them saying that Bullseye was
out.
He overheard them saying he got out of jail. Yeah, he escaped. But I also like the idea that he just hears the gun and the bullet and jumps in front of it as like a reflex action. And in that sense, did he just reveal his superpower or his daredeviliness? I mean, I guess Fisk already knows. Vanessa probably knows, but would Heather pick up on it and be like, wow, your reflexes are amazing. Oh my God.
Heather might be the only person to have picked up on it, because unless you were really paying attention to him, he just walked in front of the bullet. They were dancing.
Yeah, and he's blind. She would assume he just got hit.
Well, but I will say that's what I'm saying. Heather is smart enough, if she noticed it, to question it. We'll find out. Tomorrow.
She might have noticed it. Like, how'd you get in front of that bullet so fast? I don't know. Do you guys feel like, I feel like they spent a long time making Heather seem kind of likable and her and Matt as like a nice couple. And then the last two episodes, they've like gone out of their way to make Heather, I don't know. I mean, I guess if she's anti-vigilante, of course we're going to like her a little less because our hero, right? This is a pro-vigilante show. Our hero's vigilante. But she's very, I don't know, the whole part where she like equated Daredevil.
I think part of it, and it's kind of it's part of it is, I think she listens to Fisk. You know, the fact that she was, she was their therapist, I think she grew an attachment to them, which happens. but she's always kind of been anti-vigilante to begin with, you know. It's just even more so now, and like you said, equating Daredevil to Muse, I feel like is over the line. I was okay with her being anti-vigilante until she's like, oh, they're the same. It's like, no, they're not. But it just also goes with the further in that argument where Matt is like, he's using you. Like Fisk is using you. Like, are you not seeing this? Like, you're supposed to be, and that's the problem. A little bit of the problem I have, because she is very smart. You know, up to this point, she has been a very dependable, very smart, very articulate character. But she has been anti-vigilante the whole time. So
yeah, and I feel like her thing about like if you wearing a mask is an act of cowardice, but look at like White Tiger. He had a secret identity, and as soon as it was revealed, he was murdered. Right, his niece was kidnapped by a serial killer, and then he was murdered as soon as his identity came out.
Well, she was kidnapped because she was out looking for him.
I know. Okay. All right. Fair. But there's a really good argument for why vigilantes have to wear a mask.
Well, yeah,
right?
no, 90% of the time, vigilantes hide their identity not for themselves, but to protect their families.
Yes.
Could you imagine if all villains of Spider-Man knew who he was? He wouldn't have a family. MJ'd be dead. Aunt May would be dead. They'd all be dead.
They do know his identity, though.
Yeah.
Huh?
I said they found out Spider-Man's identity, though.
Yeah, but then they didn't.
Well,
They did,
true.
then
They were made to forget, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Or then, yeah. So I don't know. I think Matt and Heather are doomed. I just don't see how he'd be like, I'm Daredevil. And she's like, oh, I was so mistaken. Vigilantes are good, right? Like, I think that should she find out, she will be that's the end of it. Well, they're doomed anyway. Whether she finds out or not.
They're doomed anyway. I mean, there's three ways Heather can go. She can get killed. I hope they don't go that route, because it's
a cop out, and it's a trope. All superheroes
exactly
killed all the time.
Exactly. She can find out he's Daredevil
and leave,
and that creates a whole thing, and she leaves. They break up, or they just break up because they realize, you know what, this is not working. Either so what I'm saying is they're gonna break up.
You cut out there for a second. They're gonna what?
All I said was they're gonna break up. I don't see any storyline where they do not break up.
Well, I think at first she's gonna be like, oh, Matt, because he just got shot. Then they'll break up.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying by the end of the episode they will not be together.
Right.
Yeah. They're either gonna break up, she's gonna find out, or they're just going to break up over a vigilante, or just break up because they're just going to break up. Also, I know she's not a comic book girlfriend of his, right? She's new.
Yes, she is.
She is a comic book girlfriend.
Yeah.
My understanding is that Daredevil's girlfriends don't fare too well, usually. It's not like Spidey and MJ that he always saves her and they're in love and shit. Like, don't all his girlfriends die? Like, I read about one who becomes an alcoholic and kills herself.
Yeah, that would be. Wait, no. Who becomes an alcoholic and kills himself?
Right? Didn't one of Daredevil's girlfriends become an alcoholic and kill herself in the comic book?
Karen was a heroin addict in the comic book, but then she got killed by Bullseye after she got clean.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I think
there very well could be, and I'm not aware of it.
Yeah, I think that anyway, because if you don't read them all, I think she's an old it's from years back. But his girlfriends don't always do well in the comic books, right?
Some become super villains.
Oh yeah, Heather in the comic book commits suicide.
Oh, it's Heather.
Yeah,
there you go.
In the comic book, Heather, but she's not. She's like an heiress. She's like the daughter of a really wealthy guy.
So they completely changed her character. Like, I was aware of Heather, but I wasn't like too deep into her. I knew there was a Heather.
Yeah, Heather is not anything at all And she has a storyline that involves Black Widow crosses over. I read all about this. Heather in the comic book is totally different, ends up killing herself. But she's like a wealthy heiress and kind of bad. And yeah. Anyway, sorry. I digress. I don't know anything what I'm talking about. Anyway, these two are done. And it's too bad because I am kind of, do I love, I mean, Heather the character is okay, right?
They aren't great as a couple, though. Even Matt, like, seriously, your girlfriend is a psychotherapist, and you're like, is your client? She can't tell you that. Like, and he'd
right?
Yeah. Her alone.
No, she can't. But you kind of get where he's coming from, though, because he knows that Fisk is up to something.
Yes, I know, but he's not doing a good job of convincing her of that the way.
Well, that's because he can't be like, listen, I'm Daredevil. This is why I know these things. You know what I mean?
No, I know. I think what he's doing is having the opposite effect. It's just pissing her off.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's going to be interesting what happens after this because, like I said, Matt saved him. Like, how can Fisk at least? Well, I mean, again, publicly people don't know he's Daredevil, so I guess he can still poo-poo Daredevil, but he can't really say anything against Matt after he just saved his life. Not publicly, anyway.
You know what I think is interesting is how much time takes place in the final episode, because that didn't look like the type of shot that you just walk away from the next day. Like they keep you overnight for observation, and the next day they're like, okay, go home.
That's like an in real life kills you shot, but not on TV.
Yeah, like that was definitely upper, like it was above his heart, but it was definitely in a bad spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, he's bleeding profusely in that shot. I mean, he's not gonna die because he's Daredevil.
No, because there's a season 2.
And so my understanding is that the commitment was always to 2 seasons from the beginning, right? There was a commitment for 2 seasons and then done.
They've already renewed it for a 3rd season.
Oh, they have?
Yes, they're almost done filming the 2nd season.
Oh, really? Because I thought they had a 2-season commitment and then they were like, okay, that's all we're doing.
No.
But why would I assume that Marvel would ever not milk money if they could, right?
Yeah.
No, seriously. Why would they not milk another season if they could get away with it? And I think
it's good.
Well, I think people like so the first, was it 3 seasons on Netflix? Like, I think it's supposed to have been very good. People were very into it. They're pretty loyal to it. And well, as you said, AJ, they had a totally different plan for this show on Disney. And then they changed their tune when
Kevin Feige got involved.
And things change and the fans like what they like.
Well, I mean, they had there was a 4th season already being written when Disney and Fox or Disney bought Marvel, which is why everything went to, everything stopped over at Netflix.
Yeah. And then they had to wait and see what was going to happen.
Well, actually, I found out recently that there was actually part of the deal with Netflix, because Netflix already had the contract, but because of buying Marvels, the contracts got all wonky and shit and everything. Yeah. So Netflix had pretty much had no choice but to stop. But the deal, there was some kind of deal that they made with them where they couldn't have any of the Netflix characters couldn't be in any MCU properties for at least 2 years.
Oh. Huh, interesting.
That's why it took so long for anything to happen with any of them. Just a little tidbit that I read recently.
A little tidbit.
Rules are so weird.
Yep.
Anyway,
all right. Well, this was, I have not. Okay, I complain every week that I don't like this show, right? And every week I'm like, you guys, I don't like Dark Marvel. I don't like Street Marvel. I'm kind of excited to see what happens next week.
And I'm going to give a little tease to everybody that I might not be a happy camper next week, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Ooh.
just to make everybody tune in. Because if there's a storyline that there's a lot of rumors, and so not rumors, but theories of people out there in the world, and I will be very upset if those theories are true.
All right.
So have to tune in next week to find out if I'm happy or pissed off.
All right, stay tuned, people. I know nobody will be able to. I won't be able to sleep, AJ, wondering if you're happy or pissed off. All right. So that wraps it up for this week. Reminders, Jamie, can you remind us what's coming up?
Yes, everybody should tune in tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be premiering the interview with Taylor Napier, who plays Maxim on Wheel of Time. And then Thursday at 8 p.m., we have our Last of Us show on YouTube. And then at probably around 9:45, because we should be done by then, we're going to have a watch party in Discord, because at 11 o'clock, Scarlett and I are going to be doing a YouTube for Agatha Christie's Towards Zero. And then Sunday, we have our Yellowjackets wrap-up series, whatever you want to call it, show at 11. So all that good stuff coming up.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a full week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And so go ahead, AJ. You want to speak? Please speak.
Unfortunately, in 2 weeks we have Andor. I mean, Andor is on before that, but we'll have it here in 2 weeks.
We'll start to cover it in 2 weeks. I actually started rewatching some of last season.
23rd?
23rd?
23rd, I think. Yeah.
I started my usual rewatchy kind of thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm zipping through a lot of it, but I'm trying to refresh.
You know what though? I gotta say, I actually, the trailer I saw for Andor, I think season 2 is gonna be a little bit better, because I think it's gonna be a little less Andor.
A little less.
Did you really just Andor?
A little less Andor in Andor.
Well, Saul Guerrero is in season 2, so.
Oh, and is it Forrest Whitaker?
It is.
Wow. Interesting. And so I know we don't cover it on this show, but I watched Handmaid's Tale. Whoa. I don't think either of you guys watched Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
No.
They dropped 3 episodes for the season premiere, which was kind of a lot. I'm not sure how I really feel about that. Like, do I think a streamer should drop 3 episodes? Or would I prefer to have a shorter? So I watched them, and I don't feel like they were 3 of a piece. You know how sometimes episodes just go together and have to air together? That's not what this was. They just dropped 3. So I watched that.
I don't like when streamers do that, because then we have a situation like with the Wheel of Time where there was 3 episodes, and I didn't know there was 3 episodes, and we did 2 episodes a week for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we got behind.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously don't care about us when they
No.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, at any rate, that brings us, I think we're at the end, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, guys, stick around for a minute. I need to test.
I saw your.
Okay,
I want to
okay,
talk
I
to you
think you
also.
did. Okay.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.